Balls again.
Balls.
Hey, everyone!
Good evening.
We're looking through some nice photographs here from Phil DeCesare. He showed us some of his former experiences with professional wrestlers in the business.
Back in the day, Charlie, when we had to do the instant camera
You
and
didn't
go
have
to
this
CBS,
gimmick.
we didn't have that gimmick yet. It only was for talking.
I wonder if people were at the CBS and they saw these photos being developed and saying, who are these people?
I wonder if they kept some of them myself, I probably have forgotten a few,
Anyway, but welcome again to another installment of a Sunday Night Watch Along. We're going to be watching SuperBrawl
number 2, I believe.
Yeah, from 92.
Yeah.
And it's a February show from February 92. It's on a leap year.
Yeah.
So that means it doesn't happen every year.
Right.
That's why I hear about those leap years.
Like a leapfrog,
Now, do you have any, you show me some of the pictures here. Do you have any stories of a picture that you, like when you look at it, you're like, I remember when that photo was taken exactly because I remember there was something that happened there. You have any weird meetings with any of the people involved that you want to share or nothing hopefully too insane?
The thing about it is a lot of these photos were at the gym. Some of them were at events and some of them were actually just random sort of things. But, the etiquette about snapping a photo at the gym is you wait for your subject to be done with their workout and you ask. Actually, one time.
And you got to make sure that all the sets are complete. You don't want to go after the second set and they got a third set.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you can work in with them and actually work out, all the better. You kind of develop that camaraderie.
Yeah.
But interestingly, before Kane unmasked, he was at the gym and no one had really seen him in a while, without the gimmick. And to me, he looked like just a giant Val Venus. I mean, he looked like a refrigerator with a head on it.
He had like a light brownish hair, right?
He had the longer hair too. It was legit. It wasn't the whole gimmick with the mask after the head shape. But I asked him politely and nicely, and he declined because again, he was the gimmick and he didn't want to be seen, without the mask. So I of course honored that, and didn't. I mean, I had thoughts of ambushing but again, he was like a side-by-side refrigerator with the head on top. So
yeah, and it's insane because that gimmick, I look back and you think his hair is really that long dark hair. The mask looked really good at the time. And I remember looking at him back in the day and I thought he had the best arms in wrestling. Especially that bare exposed arm back in like 98. It looked huge. I don't think I would put his arm against any arm in wrestling at that time. He was
legitimately one of the strongest guys in the business too. And all the guys will say that too. In fact, I forget it. I think he beat almost everyone in an arm wrestling contest, including Brock Lesnar. I believe I heard stories. Yeah. So Kane was legit.
No,
exceptionally strong. And very impressive in person back in the day too.
And he's so articulate. The way he talks, you wouldn't think a guy that size would talk like that.
Well, he's so articulate. He's now the mayor somewhere down in Tennessee, I guess. Knoxville. Is it Knoxville?
It's Knox County or something.
It's
a county thing.
But it's a major deal, and he gets some good press down there. And I like much of his thinking too. He's a pretty smart, rational kind of guy.
Like a libertarian sort of type?
Yeah, he actually is. He's of that Rand Paul, I think, kind of variety. Just all about individual freedom and all that.
Ron Paul, maybe
fascinating.
2008 candidate.
I think so.
He was also in that Borat movie when Borat was dancing. Bruno. It was Bruno.
Oh,
when Bruno was dancing in front of him and he's like, "Oh, you want to get the little frisky?" And he was like, "This guy's queer as blazes," he said was the phrase.
Really?
Yeah, but
that was a shoot too, right? It was kind of an ambush.
With that movie, I don't know. I think it probably was a shoot. But then again, there's cameras there, and you're like, well,
you got to wonder a little bit, right?
A little bit, but
yeah.
But no, these are some cool pictures.
Yeah, we'll share some more after.
There's just some really cool pictures.
Yeah.
I'm glad you kept them because now everything's on here.
Everything is,
And I don't like that only because if this gets destroyed.
Yeah.
Where's everything going?
Yeah.
But it's a really interesting thing to think about. When you say legitimately strong, you think about the wrestlers today, and you're like, who's legitimately strong? Cesaro.
Oh yeah.
Sheamus, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a Brian Cage because he looks so intense.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. There's not as many strong guys.
It's that intimidation factor too, and it's I mean, you should look like somebody special, or at least like a superhero, like they used to look like, and not to discount the talents of our modern day competitors who are just great performers in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the most oft-uttered critique is the fact that they're not these giants anymore. And
yeah,
I think Vince McMahon had made the move, or is making the move, to hire men who are 6'2" and over and 220 and over or something. So he's really aiming for, he's doing the size, thing now.
But to be fair too, it's not just the size. I think just because you're 6'3" and 240 pounds doesn't mean you're going to be a good pro wrestler,
Right.
or you have even any charisma,
Right.
But at the same time,
Case in point.
No, come on, you're being a little hard on yourself. You got a low charisma, I think. But there's a lot more people under 6 feet tall than over,
yeah.
And I can tell you, for me, there's some great athletes out there, but they look like guys who, as Jim Cornette would say, some of them look like guys who they work at the Jiffy Lube and they go to the gym 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's nothing wrong with that, because to me, some of these guys look great compared to the average guy walking down the street.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, like, I can look at someone on wrestling and be like, well, they're not that great, but if they're in better shape than me, that's number one.
Yeah.
I look for that.
I can hear Gorilla Monsoon's voice now saying something different. He's saying, "You'll get that way waiting for the bus." In other words,
he doesn't need
walk or run.
He doesn't have a problem with getting it in on a Saturday night.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. When I hit my knee, I thought of what was that thing he temporarily misplaced his patella tendon? As he would,
perhaps a temporary displacement of the patella.
Yes, it could come back into place.
As long as it wasn't your medulla oblongata, I think you're going to be okay.
I was just finishing up the. I can't even say. I was just finishing up actually earlier a lesson from the Terry Garvin School of Defense.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, we're going to be watching SuperBrawl 2. I don't remember. I remember the main event.
Sting and Luger, I think. Again, I haven't watched this in as many years.
Sting and Luger, right before Luger, it was Luger's last match before he left, and then he showed up in the WBF and then the WWF.
Yeah.
And it's Sting. It's funny because I think that the only other thing I can think of is I want to say Pillman and Brad Armstrong are on the card. Not as a match, but they'll probably. I think of random names are on the card.
I did read ahead, and actually, I think it's Pillman and Liger who opened the programming. Quite a match. In fact, again, a reference to Luger and showing up in WCW at the first show in Nitro, and I think it was Mall of America, Minnesota, wherever it was in the fall of '95.
Right.
The very first match was Pillman and Liger to open up Nitro, the inaugural show. So they've had a great history, and obviously they work so well together.
Did you prefer Pillman later on or earlier Pillman?
Oh, both were great. I mean, obviously the athleticism early on was just incredible in many ways, and
he really went downhill physically though over kind of quickly just because of all the injuries.
He did, but I think he adapted. And again, you spoke about the charisma factor.
Yeah, he did.
And he had that in abundance. So I mean. He just he kind of let that shine through at that point on. So
I think he had it all. I think he looked great physically.
Yeah,
he wasn't a giant, but he wasn't really a small guy either. Like he wasn't like 5'6".
But very impressive.
Very impressive. Great physique. And charismatic.
Great ups back in the day. It's great springs, and I think he's looking down now. And I think he's
2 minutes. All right. Well, we're gonna go. We'll get to the show, and eventually I'm getting the cue from Dano on the side about 2 minutes. I think that means 2 minutes he has to poop. He likes to tell me to build them up. Well, we're going to be building them up throughout the show. Oh, wimpy. Well, but I was going to say Pillman was great, and I think too Pillman was a guy who was a great athlete who understood pro wrestling on what it was. I think one
psychology definitely, and he had a good understanding of the world and the politics at the time, and just he lived a very tough life going back to childhood, obviously with those dozens of those throat surgeries, and then just the love life and his whole situation, very volatile relationships.
He had a lot of problems.
He seemed to gravitate, and again, some people just are magnets for that. And you know what, man? And we don't want to make it sound like it's his doing entirely. And I think just people can attract certain types of people and energies. And, definitely a volatile, wild, well-lived in many ways life. And I'm sure he's looking down, and he'll be looking down next Sunday and rooting for the Bengals, I think that would be a fair... And they can certainly use his help, I think, and anyone else.
Crazy they got there. It's crazy they got there.
Yeah.
But it's a weird thing. But I think he's one of those guys who athletically was great. but he understood what pro wrestling was on a fundamental level of getting to the people.
Mhm.
Sometimes you see these great athletes that never quite get wrestling. They sort of feel like, well, it's about the spots, it's about the moves, it's about the look, but they never quite get to that. On paper, they're all that, but they never quite get to that point.
Yeah, and the thing about Pillman, and it's often said now too, that if you can work the boys and you can work the crowd, if you can fool everyone backstage, then certainly everyone who's watching on the other side of the cameras can be fooled. And I think he did a lot of that too. And he was really one of the first to kind of to blur the lines a little bit, and I think a lot of people appreciated that, and were drawn to it. And gone way too soon. You have to wonder what would have happened.
I think he would have been a big star of the Attitude Era. I think when you look at it, I think it would have been like an Austin Rock, Triple H. I think Pillman would have been right. Undertaker, Foley. I think he would have been right, kind of. If not right in that group, he would have been right underneath.
Yeah, and some groundbreaking stuff back then that I don't think would fly on today's television either.
That's the thing.
The home invasion angle and everything else. Just
they've done it since,
but at the time it was amazing. I mean,
they've done it since, but they've never gone that way with it. You'll see Triple H going to Randy Orton's home and he'll smash things with a sledgehammer. And I always thought, well, wouldn't the police put legal charges against him? It seems to be a little,
Yeah.
But they could have done that with Pillman and Austin with the gun.
Yeah. And you're too young to remember, I think.
All right, baby, gear it up.
Oh, Dr. D. David Schultz firing a weapon in his home. I believe it was his home.
Well, he did a TNT episode where he...
Yes, he shot. Yeah, it was TNT, and Vince went through the roof.
I showed my friend that, and he's a big gun fan, and he's like, this is amazing. He's like, I don't like wrestling that much at all, but he's like, he thought it was the funniest thing.
Yeah. And another very edgy character.
Anyway.
To
the people watching, if you are, I believe the link is in the description.
It is in the description box. Fans, welcome to our SuperBrawl 92 watch along. We got prizes.
Good book.
We got voiceovers
Check it
from
out.
Bill.
Check it out.
We got emails from Wimpy. We got scum talent that we're dealing with. We got it across the board.
Oh, I wouldn't.
We got a hell of a pay-per-view.
I don't know if I'd go with scum talent yet. Let's just all.
Oh, I would.
Well.
I'm hot under the collar, as you know.
Well,
Charlie.
can I just say, may I say something about Wimpy and the scum talent?
Yes.
Hitler lost in World War II because he fought on two fronts. That's all I'm going to say. He lost on two fronts because he was fighting two fronts, not one, two.
One at a time. Is that what you're trying to tell
Well,
me?
I'm telling you, maybe if you're going to do that, do one at a time.
Well, Wimpy, we're going to deal with in about 30 seconds. As Eric Bischoff and Tony Schiavone open things up here from... I believe the Mecca in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they think they got about 5,000 or 6,000 people here.
That's good for them.
I want to say that. I did a quick Wikipedia of it.
Still waiting for John C. Manicus Riley. I think the snow out there is slowing him down tonight.
I almost slipped. I was just telling Phil, I hit my knee, and I almost slipped on some snow. And I remember thinking, like, I can't catch a
How
break.
did you bump your knee?
It was actually pulling a Quincy. I was getting in the shower. I was naked.
Today?
Yeah.
Did you went naked? Well,
I was running through my apartment first, and I keep hitting this knee, and now it's a little sore. I put some ice on it afterwards. This was the knee I fell off my motorcycle with, and I keep hitting it on things. It's like
trick knee.
It's like God hates
Bobby
my
Heenan
knee.
used to say.
You know?
It's his old trick knee.
Yeah, it's just like steps, shower, and I was thinking like, I was screaming. I felt like Quincy, naked, screaming in the shower.
You were that much pain that you were screaming?
I was more angry at myself, like again with the knee, like if I could imagine Quincy just naked and angry in the shower. That's how I felt,
That might make you cry.
So, and I had a phone call with a friend who lost his father. So that was
some other people I'd rather see take his place.
Well, that was I'm not even going to go there right now. Let's just say I got the email on that video all at that time, so I had to kind of go through it, and I'm still having some questions.
I'm reading about Wimpy. Wimpy says, I don't know if your servers have problems, if you just email challenge. Your 12822 email never reached me.
Is that Miley Cyrus?
Try and conduct yourself in a professional manner when you correspond. I guess asking him if he wanted to pay for hamburgers on Tuesday that he would eat today, he didn't consider professional. I know you think you're witty, but your comments come across as nothing more than a grasping bore, really. When he spelled it B-O-O-R, I'm impressed. If you were serious about a discussion, I gave you a time slot to set up a conference call. That's what professionals do when they want to have a discussion, and you ignored it. I didn't really. I'll give you another one for this Monday at 3 p.m. If you're interested, email me back and I'll call you. Well, you know what? Let's see. We're going to tell Wimpy.
By alluding to you as a professional, I mean, is he trying to imply that you're a lawyer as well, Dan? I mean,
I don't know.
who's paying you to take the time to email this guy back? I don't understand. You know,
because I waste more time on a Sunday.
Ooh, Gary Michael Capetta. I'm a big fan of Gary Michael Capetta. Oh, sure, Jim Ross. I just felt like
another individual that's been here in the studio, our good friend JR.
Please don't tell me he looks like the Campbell Soup twin. Oh my God.
So we waste more time on a Sunday on a complete waste of time.
Was Jim Ross miserable at this point working in WCW? Is this Watts era, early '92? I think Watts is here, isn't he? Oh no, Watts didn't get there till the spring.
Look at the body, baby.
Looks like Quincy.
Covering his body up, but Quincy 78 Pondomatic wouldn't go that quick. That's a different story for a different time. If you sincerely believe.
Do you think that was a good pickup for them, WCW Ventura?
Yeah.
Well, I've always liked Jesse.
Oh, both. I think it gave them some legitimacy at that time.
That's exactly it. He just wasn't into it.
Bischoff did fire him, though, didn't he? And wasn't it for the offense of sleeping or something on the job or something?
I guess he was not a very pleasant person to be around at that time, and I can understand.
Who, Jess?
Yeah.
Well, I think he resented the fact that they brought in Bobby to kind of take his place as the A guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Jesse, but I think Bobby's a better color commentator.
Well, and they did that in WWF as well.
I mean, that's
Bobby
my opinion.
Replaced Jesse with Gorilla.
Yeah, that's my opinion. I think Jesse's great, but I think Bobby's a little better.
Well, Bobby's at the top, and no matter where, you know.
Oh yeah, he's the greatest color guy.
But
and I would say Jim Ross is the greatest play-by-play guy. Now that is with respect to Gordon Soley, who I never really got to see.
Well, you know, if you did, you know that's a tight battle there. Gordon Soley was phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Also was a fan of Mike Tenay.
Iron Mike is great.
Joey Styles, I
love Joey.
For me, respect what he did. I didn't care for the one-man style in ECW. I thought he was better when he got Don Cyrus to be a little bit more. And Joe Gertner. Joe Gertner, I thought was a little
wonderful.
Bit better.
Yeah. And Rick Rude for a spell too.
Rude was great. Rude was great because Rude, he always kind of preferred the heels, but he always gave you a little bit, you know, kind of understood why the heels were a little bit.
He gave you perspective.
Yeah, he gave you perspective. Yeah. You think he?
I'm in a mood, so I'm ready to.
Yeah, I saw the video you sent me, by the way.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
I'm with Wimpy right
now. Wimpy, where's olive oil? I don't know. They wonder if anyone tells him that.
Wimpy cinch sack.
So would this be a prize potentially?
It all depends on what Price Savvy has to say.
Read this book, very good book. You get a sense that Luger's a changed man.
Oh, most definitely. Very, very humble and
excellent body, though. Excellent body.
Yeah.
Are you a big reader, Phil? Do you like to read?
Pretty voracious, I dare say.
I've actually been reading a little bit. I haven't read in about a week or so, but I've been reading. I just started a book by Tim Hornbaker called Death of the Territories.
I have that. I've read that.
I like it so far.
Reread that.
Is it good?
I love that.
I'm in chapter 3.
Yes.
I just started.
I have that. Yep.
What do you think? I'm. To me, it's interesting because I haven't gotten through it, but I'm really liking how. Oh, Brian Pillman.
Flying Brian, looking great.
With his Bengals trunks.
And note the mullet, Charlie.
Great mullet.
Rocking a good mullet. Yeah.
That's a solid, strong mullet. Wasn't like a.
Let's see stylistically if we see any of Junior in him now. I mean, you know, I know we do, and.
I think he's more polished. How old's Junior now? He's probably a little younger than me.
24. I don't know. I guess I don't know. Right.
Well, how old? Brian's about 30 here, but I think Brian's more polished than his son. His son looks a little bigger, physically, like size.
He's got some big calves, I recall.
It is Liger and Pillman.
Yeah, Jushin Thunder Liger.
What a great gimmick, ageless. He can do this at 35. He can do this at 55. Maybe not move quite as well, but he you know. I'd say him and Muda are my favorite two Japanese wrestlers up there at least
of the era of this.
I mean, I got to meet Oh, what's his name? He had wrestled Omega a lot. Ibushi. I got to meet Kota Ibushi, if you know that name.
Did you?
Yeah, I got to meet him at a Ring of Honor show when I was 16.
Wow.
And he wrestled Davey Richards on the card in Boston.
Okay.
And I was with my dad, and I said, and it was like kind of like right before the mission, and he got out the ring and he went somewhere, and he was like, he just literally worked the match. He's sweaty, he's just, and I go up to him, and I just shook his hand. I said, that was incredible. And he's, oh, thank you very much. Very just typical Japanese, just very polite, very humble. But he was an incredible. I had never seen guys like that, and it wasn't just spots. He was extremely athletic, but everything he did looked so good and crisp, and he
made sense.
Yeah.
Right?
And some people could say, well, he wrestled the blow up doll, but I wouldn't. That's a very indie promotion in Japan. It's not like he did that in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah.
But amazing professional, and he was so. And the crazy thing was, he looks almost like he did then. Hasn't aged much. Phenomenal shape.
Yeah.
He's probably close to 40 now.
Yeah. And
he just looks great.
Well, I mean, natural, clean living athletes, and not to draw those assumptions about him, but tend to fare much better. Over the long haul.
But I really liked his stuff, and I thought he was great. And I liked some of the New Japan guys of this era, like Naito. I thought was very good. Tanahashi is excellent.
Yeah.
Okada and Omega had those matches that I was like, whoa, it was something else. That's why with Omega, sometimes I don't like the stuff in AEW, but to me, I think of those Okada matches, and I'm like, I did that.
Yeah.
I
wish they brought Tiger Mask over a little more too.
Always enjoyed
that. Would have been.
I actually have a 4-disc collection of the Tiger Mask matches, which is excellent.
That is great.
Yeah, I got it from High Spots. If you ever want to borrow it, let me know.
I will. I will.
It's from the
in
first.
all its incarnations.
It's the first, second. So I got Sayama, Masawa, Kanimoto, and then the fourth one, who I forget the name of.
I don't even know.
But I've got those four.
Not four. I don't know.
I don't even know if there's a fifth Tiger Mask now. Maybe.
I don't know. I've lost track now because I'm not saying it's watered down, but I
always liked the Black Tiger gimmick, and they always gave
Eddie Guerrero.
Aki Romero in recent times.
But originally Eddie was it?
Originally, and I always liked how they gave it to a foreigner. I always liked that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of made it a little different. I think they gave it to a Japanese guy recently. I don't know then. I really don't follow Japanese wrestling. It's sort of like something I'll watch once in a blue moon. I never got into the All Japan 90s stuff, and I know that's like
I love that in the 80s stuff too.
I've watched the matches.
Funks and Brody and
I watched some of the matches.
Baba.
And I never really got into it. Like I would watch like Masawa and Tenryu.
Yeah.
Or like Masawa Kawada and Kobashi and those guys, but I never really got super into it. I respected what they did, and the people definitely liked it. I don't know, were they a bigger deal than New Japan in the 90s, or was it kind of, because I heard that they were doing really well in the 90s too. New Japan and All Japan, the Japanese. Was one bigger than the other? Like if you had Chono against Masawa, was one a bigger star?
I would say, I'm not the world's biggest Japanese wrestling aficionado. We need the Jackal for that.
Yeah.
He's dead. But,
they kind of went back and forth.
Almost like Raw and Nitro.
Yeah, I think that's
WCW and WWF both had great, and it went on for much longer.
Yeah.
Of great periods of success than WWF and WCW had. I'm going to get back to you guys on the chat in 1 minute. I'm just looking up some information for this email I'm sending to an individual called Wimpy.
Okay. The only thing I want to say about the Japanese style professional wrestling that I had a little bit of problem with is sometimes the selling. It's not that they don't. The selling is a little different than American style of pro wrestling.
They don't sell like Ricky Morton, do they?
They don't really sell as much. Like you'd see Masawa do the forms, and he'd take a form, but he wouldn't really sell it, or he'd sell. It was weird. The selling was weird, but I thought, they could, or like he would hit like a Emerald Explosion, but then he'd win the match with a form. It didn't make sense to me.
That can be cultural too.
Yeah, And I've asked fans, like, I'm like, what am I missing? And they kind of say you sort of have to. I've gotten someone who said you sort of have to watch them from the beginning. It's almost like a television show. You have to watch from earlier points.
Sure.
But I heard that the NWA champion would go over to All Japan. Flair would wrestle over there, and I think he beat Kerry Von Erich in Japan. Rick Martel.
He did. He beat. Yeah, he won the title back in just in days after Texas Stadium, or 2 weeks after, or something like that. It wasn't. It was somewhere in that.
No.
In that
Even though I think if Kerry had been clean, I think if Kerry had been a little cleaner, he probably would have gotten a little bit longer of a run. But I don't know if he was that.
Phil may remember better than me because he was probably around for Kerry's peak. I started watching in '86.
Yeah.
And I always thought he was boring, lousy. He was never my cup of tea.
Okay.
But that's one man's opinion.
What about you, Phil? Let's say you.
Having seen Kerry a little bit earlier than that, particularly early '80s, Kerry.
You saw the early
very
80s,
unique,
right.
'82 Kerry and beyond, typically. And of course, he did lose a step with his demons and with his literally lost a step, so to speak.
But he moved around well without a fresh.
He did. But earlier Kerry had better timing and that great drop kick that he'd throw from a standing position was just incredible. And they used the term charisma with him. He didn't have to do anything to just get a reaction.
Physical charisma and the epitome of it.
Yeah.
He was just. But I think too he could have. I had watched a match recently, a little bit of one. It was like a world-class episode off of the network.
Mm-hmm.
And they were kind of building around the Freebirds and Von Erichs, with Ric Flair kind of being in the middle of it. And I watched part of Von Erich and Ric Flair, and I'm thinking, David Von Erich probably would have been a great NWA World Champion just because of how he seemed like a ring general. He seemed to be in the right place at the right time. He moved around well. Kerry was not the natural worker David was, but Kerry had the look and the charisma, and then Kevin just is Kevin.
Cosmetic. And Kevin's kind of a combination of them both, I think.
Yeah, but it's crazy to think that Kerry Von Erich. I think.
Well, David also is the only one really to ever be a heel for any length of time, and I think that really helped balance him out too. And the fact that he was nearly 6'7", and which made him so unique in his own right. He wasn't built like
tall.
Them. Oh yeah, he was legit. I bet legit 6'6" anyway. He was a tall drink of water, and
also to the NWA champion seemed to always be able to work as a heel.
Yeah,
that was their territory, was based around heels.
And he was I think he's better traveled than the other two also. And they all had runs at the Missouri title, which was great, and that was the stepping stone to the NWA title. So
right,
obviously it was in one of their futures anyway.
Do you think that, speaking of the NWA, they gave it to Tommy Rich for a few days. Do you think that he should have ever gotten it back? Because he was very popular at that time. And I know Tommy didn't age that well, but for that time period, you think he could have gotten a little bit longer run than 4 days, Tommy Rich. You don't like baby faces, though, I've noticed.
It's Tommy Rich.
You don't like Southern clean-cut baby faces.
Look like a wrestler to me.
And that day, he did. That's the thing. Phil, what do you say about Tommy Rich? I think he worked for that day.
Gordon Soley always touted his tendon strength, which is what you do if someone isn't going to the gym, But
oh no, he let himself go very badly.
Lifting Jack Daniels doesn't count as, but he certainly had the charisma. Great interview, great raspy Southern voice, and about to lose my nice catch.
Do you want to hear what I said to him?
Over with the women. Oh yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Well, like I said, when the legal representation of Berzerker sent me an email asking me if I was just email challenged instead of mentally challenged. So I said, well, I won't use his name. I'll say, hey, Wimpy, how are you? As I waste more time on a Sunday night on a complete waste of time in this situation with your client. If you sincerely believe I would trust you with your minions listening into an undocumented phone call, you were extremely mistaken. I would, though, be very happy to read your thoughts to my 7 points of contention via email. Being called a grasping bore by someone in your profession, almost a compliment. Forget about a grasping bore with some of the insurance companies you quote-unquote represent. Some, certainly not me, might look at you as a grasping whore. Very happy that after 8 months, Birdseed Teeth finally decided to join the studio as a member to make positive contributions to a wonderful facility where he's always welcome. If I don't hear back from you within the next few days, I will resend this message in case I am email challenged, as you stated.
In a steel cage.
Enjoy his burger.
April 16th in the steel cage. I see it now.
Tom, my mic is low? Oh, shit. Oh, you want to know why? Because it's not on.
So
I think I hit the mute button.
John Will, Tommy Rich was over the day as Wildfire.
John Will. Hey, now.
Yeah, J.A. or I don't know if it's Ja or J.A. Is it J.A. or Ja?
I reckon it's Ja. I don't know.
All right, well, we're going to find out, Phil.
We
We're
will
going to find
indeed.
out.
We will indeed.
We don't know where John C. Manicus Riley is. We've heard from Wimpy. We've got talent issues. If you listen to the... thank you, Fox. Yeah, I think I hit it on mute when I was pounding the keyboard, typing to Wimpy.
Is there any...
The legal eagle that says I'm email challenged as opposed to mentally challenged.
Is there
What's that now?
any sort of like resolution from you and Wimpy having these email back and forth?
I have no idea.
Do you not want to talk to him on the phone?
I will not. No, I will absolutely.
Well,
because what's going to happen is they'll put you on a speakerphone. He'll have 6 guys sitting around the table. They'll all be sitting there.
Yep.
No. He can send me an email if he wants to communicate with me.
Smart. Yeah. Digital trail.
See?
Yep.
Rhymes with treasury. And as far as the talent issues go, fans, you'd have to be on Patreon at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling to even begin to understand the backstory to the stress that I am dealing with today. Just a long day, but we're happy you're here for SuperBrawl 2. One hell of an opener with 2 great talents.
Great springboard clothesline by Pillman.
I remember Jushin Thunder Liger actually in his last year competed gratis at the Cauliflower Alley Club reunion in Las Vegas, just so he could say that he did it once.
What a good man, huh? What a move.
I spoke to him, and I had no idea what he said back, but that was all right.
Wow, his actions spoke louder, Dan.
I did.
What did he look like?
A Japanese man.
Okay. Nondescript Japanese man?
Now, wait a minute. J.A., when you say that, is it Ja or is it J.A.?
Flying Brian.
Ja, like Ja Rule, the rapper?
If it's Ja, say J-A-H. We'll say Ja.
Yeah, pronunciate it for us. But a hell of an opener here at SuperBrawl 2. What a waste. For a company that had a lot of great talent and a lot of garbage talent all at the same time.
Pillman living up to his name for sure.
And that was before he got back to the hotel. Dan, totally random question, but what was your favorite Sting, the blonde flat top surface Sting? You know, I may be in the minority, Simon, but I always liked blonde flat top Sting.
I did too.
I think they killed Crow Sting once he started to talk. I thought Crow Sting was really over when he didn't speak, but then as soon as he opened his mouth and it really didn't change, you know, I think it kind of lost its effect. No, he really didn't, but it was like Kane.
Years without talking?
Kane could have never spoken.
But yeah, but he spoke before, so what, he's a mute now?
Who?
Crow Sting, because everyone remembers him as Blonde Sting when he talked. He had to speak at some point.
Well, he could have been slower. He could have been
persona.
He could have been quieter. He could have been a little bit more deliberate, a little bit more intent behind it. But you know, it was just basically the same guy. Only he changed his face paint and his hair was long.
He called Bischoff. He said, "You're a liar," and he pointed to Hogan and said, "You're a dead man." Those were his first words, I think.
Don the Barber said, "Well, apparently he thinks Jushin Thunder Liger looks like a Kowloon employee." They're Chinese, Don, not Japanese, but close enough, I guess. We want to be politically incorrect, or I might get an email from Wimpy saying I'm Asian challenge.
Can we call him the Wimp Master?
Wait, J.A. is what?
A portmanteau, okay, of his real name.
Of my name. So it is J.A. No?
Like John Allen?
Well, then you would have J period, A period, I would believe.
Well, Phil doesn't like the fact that you don't have your periods, J.A. If it is J.A.
Oh, nice
And
bridge.
if you're a man, you shouldn't have any periods. Oh,
Nice bridging suplex.
We're having fun. I need a little fun.
We love J.A. Will anyway.
He is. He's part of the
trainer
family.
and
He's
just
a good man.
A great man down in Georgia.
He
Quite a fan.
stated that earlier, while we were ignoring him, that the Great Muta used to train at his gym back in the day down there.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
I think he made reference to that. Yeah, he's met a lot of people down there.
Where was the gym? In Atlanta? Or like?
Must be somewhere in
GA.
the greater Georgia area.
Well, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you know, with
Bad Street, Atlanta, GA.
he was down in Georgia. Was he ever familiar with a Patera Rastani?
I think he worked out there too, but he had on one of those spaghetti tank top strings.
You look like him, Patera.
Just that name sends poor Quincy into
Doesn't like it.
a tizzy. My lord.
At work.
Doesn't like
Was he the Olympian of the family, Patera?
Well, he's the Olympian drunk at this point in time, but I don't want him to hire Wimpy to represent him. So he's alcoholically challenged.
I mean, so many people have had problems with alcohol in wrestling. It's just such a terrible thing.
I don't think Patera is fine.
Oh God, what was that?
How come nobody picked up Quincy tonight? Don the Barber, it is a challenge and a half. Believe me. Believe me. If any of you fine folks want to send an Uber for Quincy, send him on over.
Also, here's
If I
the
got
thing.
here earlier, I would have.
Quincy is good for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. After that, he's kind of quinced out.
You were a little angry that he knocked out the watch along that night when he screamed, "It's just a shower," repeatedly.
Well, I wasn't. I was upset. I felt he could have handled the situation better at being a 6-year-old.
Well, he is like Wimpy accused me of being email challenged. I think Quincy is a little of the
life challenged.
Life challenged, is a PC way to put it.
Duck under. Oh,
no, you live near the airport, JA. I'm going to keep calling you JA until you tell me it's Ja.
Hartsfield's a big airport.
Oh,
huge.
Oh.
You must use. Thank God they have those movable sidewalks.
Oh.
Yeah, have to walk that.
My mom, like Jack Klugman, is Quincy me.
Medical examiner.
The
coroner. Yeah.
See, it's a good thing we have you here, Phil.
Amen.
I need it
the
today.
State of Maryland is in dire need of apparently they're dealing with a lot of they're backed up in terms of their medical exam, their post-mortem exams.
Really?
They need more Quincy's down in Maryland. Yeah.
Well, maybe in the spring when his bike is working again.
Right. Road trip.
He
Now,
like-
he
he
and I
like-
have a date for the zoo. We better go. I want to go to the zoo with
You
Quincy.
like follow that.
what zoo are you going?
Up the street. The
Stoneham?
Zoo. I've never been to that one.
I don't think there's a lot there.
It,
Well,
well, it
there's some
looks
animals.
What's that?
They may keep them.
They,
Danny wants to know what do you guys think of Shane McMahon getting fired? I think people are jumping the gun when it comes to that. I just think it's to the point where he's not going to be used. I can't see him being axed from his contract. That's just me.
Wasn't Pillman cutting promos about Liger being Japanese, and he's like, "No Japanese guy's gonna have the belt."
I don't remember
No, I
that.
don't remember
you might
that
be
either.
right.
Well, but anyway, there's a babyface hug, which I like.
And you know what? Real emotion in Pillman's face when he won, which is really
Yeah, imagine
Cool to
that,
see.
actually acting like
Yeah.
you're happy that you want to wrestle in that.
yeah.
Did Liger ever talk about Pillman? Or did Pillman ever
Well,
talk
he may have.
No, I think they had really good matches. I think
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
They opened up the, I believe it was the first match in Nitro history.
Yes, they
In
did.
September
I
of
made reference to that.
95.
The
Oh,
very
I'm sorry.
first- Oh, yeah. Mall of America, I believe, is the,
Yep.
the location.
Pillman did not have the mullet then. He had cut the mullet, but I think he just had the shorter curly hair at that point.
It was a transition time. Maybe he could have still had it. I don't remember that.
I think he was a horseman maybe at that time.
I don't know. Did he go for just the frizz?
No, he wasn't an official horseman yet, but it was coming soon.
Okay.
It was in the works. But what do you think of Shane O'Mac getting fired? I think the problem with Shane is I hate his ring gear. He's got that baseball jersey and the gym pants, and in reality, he's actually in tremendous physical condition.
Yeah,
he
he's
does
a
a lot
fit
of
dude.
MMA training, and you'd think at 52 years of age, he'd want to show off what he has.
Yeah.
Well, kind of like Vince. Vince would do that at 52. Well, Vince sometimes would wear
Vince hid on for many years, and we always thought, Jesus, he's a monster, and he turned out to be,
Well,
back in those padded suits of the 80s with the shoulder pads.
he worked hard with those Trembolone sandwiches, But the thing about Vince is when he wrestled, sometimes he'd wear a tank top, like with the straps, and other times he would wear just a shirt that would cover everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he was just, I'm not looking that good right now, or maybe I am looking that good.
Is that the tailor-made
yes.
man
The
at this point?
tailor-made man.
This is how I look out the shower when I try to put my hair in a little ponytail.
He looks like
Almost
a
looks like
young,
he's
a
trying
young
to dress
hunter.
up as Ted DiBiase for Halloween.
He kind of reminds me of a young Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
A
with the
little,
hair
yeah.
slicked
Yeah, I can
back
see
and
that too.
I like
regal.
Terry Taylor a lot. Great worker. Great worker.
I like him personally. A lot of people don't. Simon, you are correct. Mantar and PN News are cousins. And look at the body of work, the two of them.
They are cousins?
Yeah.
Wow, great
Look
family
at
tree.
yeah, I know. Look at their contributions to the king of sports.
Mhm.
Combined, they could have been a tag team known as Dog and Shit.
Who is this goon?
I believe
He's a college
challenged.
student. I think he's a Syracuse
no.
University.
Must have won a contest or something.
I'm going to take notes on his performance.
There he
now.
is. Yes,
Even if
Phil,
Poppy
yes.
Do
can
you
have
have the faint mustache that he has too?
Well,
Look
this isn't
look at
real.
look
Is he
the
clad in
shorts.
boxer shorts?
Maybe he's a basketball
Let
player.
me look
or
at this
a-
again. I don't
Oh,
know.
my
There's your
guy.
guy.
My guy.
Try
And
to
he's wearing,
contain
he's not
yourself
wearing
now,
long tights.
Charlie.
He's wearing biker shorts.
That right hand is going to be in motion tonight, baby.
Marcus
Something
Alexander.
that- well, it's actually a left.
Oh, Dan.
It's actually a left. I go Western style.
A Western style. All right.
I don't-
Like
what does that mean? You use a lasso?
Well, yeah, he just,
What does that mean? Spurs?
It's different. It's like Stan Hansen. I spit
Does this
tobacco.
involve a cow?
He's Marcus A. Bagwell.
Alexander.
God, what a specimen. He looked great. One of my boys.
Never a fan.
Well, you're not a fan of good talent. Terry
No,
Taylor coming out.
I don't think there was a lot of talent there, and I don't think there was a lot of.
Bagwell wasn't as good as bad as you think.
No.
Well, I guess who are you rooting for, Charlie, in this match?
Oh,
who
this
you
is like a
have?
wet dream.
It's like that song from the 70s, Torn Between Two Lovers,
damn, I
Feeling
really
Like a
picked a
Fool.
good show, huh? Between the opener and this, I'm creaming
Yeah.
my pants right now.
Well, I didn't know there was that kind of interest in the opening match.
Well,
Is it a mask fetish or was it more Flying Brian?
I think it was a combination of everything.
Oh, all right.
You know, it's just I feel like I'm sensory overload right now. You know.
You should have
Well-
come with us to the TNA house shows we helped to promote Benoit weekend. And you and Terry could have sat and talked as he talked about his admiration of what we do here in Boston wrestling.
Really.
Awesome.
Bo Douglas was quite impressed as he overheard it. I don't know if you know Matt Ledge all that well, but they like being able to hang out in the locker room and have those perks, thanks to their old crippled buddy. Before we got the bad news on Monday, but
Yeah.
that was quite a weekend. That was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
I noticed in this gimmick, Terry Taylor always wrestles with a ponytail. Very tight ponytail, wet hair.
No baby oil. He looks all slicked up.
I think I know Bagwell later.
Unless
liked
it's
to put-
Bagwell's oil coming up
Well,
on him.
Bagwell liked to use that hots later on. When they would look, your skin look reddish. The hot
Really?
stuff, I think it was called.
How do you know that?
He talked about it. I listened to a lot of. I'm a big Bagwell fan. I listened to some podcasts.
Well, I'm waiting for you to bring in some of these great WCW stars. That I need someone to take part of my responsibility because after this week, I have had it. I don't think
Poor
you have the
Dan.
Patreon to listen to the Marathi podcast, but I know Phil heard it.
You did. You've been in the rosary, Dan.
Yes.
You're in the rosary.
I'm
We're
waiting for
thinking
you to
of
leave the business at this point.
Hey,
Never.
my
That'll never
gosh.
happen.
Why?
Because I'm sick.
Well, you know what?
I'm
That's
not
your
email
problem.
challenged like Wimpy said. He's
He's like
hamburger
mentally
challenge.
Piper called it the sickness.
It
didn't
is,
he?
and it
Piper?
is, it
The
is.
sickness.
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Imagine
Yes.
if you went to a side office and then you're in the car and then you look in front of you and you see it's Wimpy ordering a hamburger and he wants to pay for it on Tuesday.
I don't know if I'd remember what he'd look like. I'd have to look at it. You know what? Let's see.
You can't make me laugh
Bowler,
like this
bowler
right now.
hat, stringy mustache, rotund, maybe.
We'll
I
see
don't
what
know.
Having
you
a
think,
Studebaker.
Phil, if you think he looks like Wimpy.
Kind of.
The relentless pursuit of justice. That's what it says.
This is
The
someone who's a
relentless
good grip of
pursuit
things.
of justice.
Yeah.
And here he is. Here he is representing Captain Lou Dana. This sorry-looking sack of shit. Now, could that not be Wimpy in some off-Broadway production wanting to pay for a hamburger
You know?
Tuesday?
Looks more devious than Mr. Fuji.
He looks like a
He probably
doctor.
has a packet of salt in his back
And he's
pocket.
calling me email challenge.
He's like the main villain from Sonic, Dr. Egg. What was the name? Dr. Egg.
So,
something.
look at this. He's got the horsemen sitting around here on this, sitting around the table, probably listening
Is
into
that
someone's
Bushwhacker
phone
with
call.
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
bald spot over there?
It could be. That could be Butch. Maybe we thought he went back to New Zealand and he never did.
The relentless.
He's the cat who ate the canary. Look at
The
him.
relentless pursuit of
Yes.
justice.
It's like the
Please.
relentless pursuit of cookies.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Sometimes as I know we got some diehard fans, we'll call them. Sometimes I want to sick them on a wimpy.
No,
Don't say
nothing
that.
violent.
Nothing-
Nothing.
nothing-
We shan't
Just
go
with
down that
messages.
road.
Just with messages.
Don't go down that road, please.
Or to pig it.
We could talk about so many other things besides, like, Frank says, this is a good match. I like this match.
No, he was a good opponent for Bagwell, who needed someone to carry him at this point.
That was very green.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah, very green. But Terry Taylor, people don't realize Terry Taylor was a big star in Louisiana for Mid-South Wrestling. He was a top babyface there. He was actually a guy.
Well,
He was one of the top baby faces. I'm not saying he was number one, but he was a top baby face. He was well liked.
In his first or second year, I think he appeared at MSG for a bout or so.
did he?
I think he did.
Yeah.
I bet I didn't know.
He actually left Memphis. He was in Memphis early on. He was actually almost with the Fabulous Ones. He was with Kern or I can't remember which one, but he was tagging with them. But he left Memphis because there was a paternity suit.
I was just going to say they ran out of women between him and Stan
Well,
Lane
he
down
got
there.
one of them
if
knocked
that's
up.
if that's the case,
Who did?
Terry Taylor.
Oh.
He got one of them knocked up, and they said, "Hey, this is your kid." And he's like, "No, I'm leaving," and he left Memphis because of that. And I don't think he ever went back to Memphis except for a shot.
Those
You know,
wow,
Terry
those are
had a
some-
very tough life that I don't think people understand for all of them that knock
Terry
him.
Taylor?
His wife passed away very young. He has 2 challenged kids.
I didn't know any of that.
Sad.
So, that's a bit tough on him. But, he
And
still
all
made
the-
a full-time career in the King of Sports.
Absolutely.
I'll never forget, Oscar making a fool out of himself at the Cauliflower Alley Club
That's not
and
surprising.
dragging me into it. So, WWE sends their little posse every year to try and help them out after burying them for so long.
Mhm.
And he walks up to Terry Taylor with a camcorder and goes, "Why are so many wrestlers depressed?" And he goes, "I'm not depressed. I feel great."
Maybe
Which is a
Oscar
great
is.
response.
No, and I told Oscar, I said, "Listen, if you want to do this shit, that's fine." I said, "But do not drag me into it with people with WWE."
It's a hell of a lead-off question, huh?
He just walked up to him and said, why are so many wrestlers depressed? He goes, "I'm not depressed. I feel great."
Because of nosy
He's got a
videographers.
scar in his stomach, I've realized. Terry, was he stuck? Terry has a scar in his stomach.
Maybe he took it from Gina Guangi with one of Marty's children.
What?
Remember the big reveal at one of the Boston Wrestling MWF shows when Gina Guangi, I shouldn't say that, Annie's sister lifted her shirt
No.
and showed the C-section, and she goes, "That's from Marty, baby."
No way.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
wouldn't-
I don't know if
Fun
Terry.
fact, I was an emergency cesarean birth. Actually.
Really?
I was, yeah.
From Gina.
No, my mother, but I was emergency cesarean.
That was a C-section.
Yep. Good, loud. Yeah, let's bump
Yeah.
out the
I
C-section.
came out the old school way.
Yeah, he came out through the back door.
I don't know about
Oh
that.
my.
Bagwell was
Proud.
a good tag team wrestler. Some wrestlers are tag wrestlers. Marty Jannetty and Billy Gunn are other tag team specialists, as Gorilla Monsoon dubbed the Rockers.
Well,
Mhm.
what kind of specialist would Wimpy be? Would he be a justice specialist?
A hamburger special.
Yeah.
Specialist.
Top bun and bottom bun. The relentless pursuit
Of
of
cookies.
justice. This fucking guy sent me a letter on January 17th saying he gave his clients 10 days to try and resolve this matter. That would take us to January 27th, and it's now February 6th. So his fucking relentless pursuit of justice is really moving at about the speed he pays for his hamburgers.
He never,
Welcome
he never
back
said it
all.
would be speedy.
Yeah.
They'll pay you on Tuesday, but he never specified the Tuesday.
Should we change it to Welcome Back, Wimpy? Rolling inverted neck snap.
Oh, great.
Nice.
But he really, I think Terry was a bit underrated as a worker. I really do. I noticed his body. I thought he was in good shape. He wasn't a bodybuilder, but he had a great tan.
At the time, he did, huh?
I don't think.
Bagwell, you're a little green here, buddy.
I don't think he
Over
was
the
ever
roll-up.
main event material for a national company, as much as I like him personally and
Oh, God, they're
professionally.
going into a spot still after the pin. Oh,
A little flying forearm action. Tito has nothing to worry about with that. My goodness.
I think Tito had a better forearm.
Tito had a great forearm. That was a
Let me ask you,
great flying
Tito
forearm.
or as a worker, Tito or Terry Taylor?
Tito.
No
Tito.
question.
Tito.
Okay.
I bet you can't name the, well, of course not. Back when Tito was on Georgia Championship Wrestling in the early 80s, he had a different finisher. Do you remember what it was?
No.
Was he Richard Blood at this time?
No, that's Rick Steamboat. Or that's Ricky Steamboat.
But I thought he
He's
performed under
Merced Solis. No,
No, but
did he?
Tito did wrestle under that name for a
Did he?
short
Oh,
period
that's-
of time, but way
Yeah,
back.
was
Way
he,
back.
Crab?
It was like this reverse step over Indian deathlock, even back bridge. He would, you know,
okay.
it was really a cool move. We used to do it as kids on each other.
I think
It
Tito
worked.
is an amazing baby face. Very underrated as a baby face, I think. Granted, like, at least Terry Taylor went heel too, but,
Yeah.
you know, I think Tito looked a little better.
There he is.
Harley looked like he was in his late 60s here.
Right. Yeah.
He's about my age.
Yeah.
But again, I think Harley was tough, and I only know this because of the forearm tattoos. If any
The-
old guy,
Yeah.
old crusty guy with an old forearm tattoo, I don't go near him. I don't mess with that guy. Kids nowadays have the sleeves with seaweed and all kinds of stuff. Now you're
With
like
seaweed.
well, you know, some of these kids have they got like seaweed looking stuff on their arms. You know,
Seaweed looking stuff.
I don't know. I was thinking about getting a tattoo. I think I look pretty cool with one.
I wish we could have done more with Harley in this studio. I enjoyed having him here when we did.
Can you do a Harley Race impression?
That gentleman right over there, Abdullah the Butcher. He would always enunciate at the end of the word.
This is where
But it
Triple
was
H
a
got his
great
promo
interview.
style from. Was Harley
Maybe
Race.
he
Yeah.
probably told. He was a big Harley Race fan. And here we have another gentleman that has made it here to MWF Studios, Cactus Jack.
Young Cactus.
Very young.
Though he looked old here.
Another one that didn't age all that great.
And this is pre-tag teaming with Man Mountain Rock.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Max Payne.
Like
With Max
2 years,
Payne,
yeah.
I should
People
say.
need to go see
Yeah,
how Mick Foley looked when he graduated high school, and he was this young.
Michael Francis Foley.
Oh, he was such a good-looking, clean-cut dude, and now he's just like, what happened,
You thought
Cactus?
Mick Foley was a good-looking guy when he graduated from high school,
very
really?
clean cut. Yeah, look.
Well, he did wind up with a model for a wife, so she must have agreed with you. Another man that's been here in this studio,
Ron Carey Simmons.
Ron Kerry Simmons, with his Delta Airlines info here in the old Marati cell phone.
He would become WCW champion, the first black. By the way, Black History Month, the first black heavyweight champion of the world.
Mhm.
Ron Carey Simmons.
You know, he's a good guy. I don't understand what happened, but whatever.
WCW was a very interesting time, though, at this time. You had, guys like
I don't know why they're chopping.
I don't know.
You
The
know,
Tomahawk.
Is that the
back
second
when it
from
was,
his
oh, yeah.
college
Seminole,
football days,
Florida
maybe?
State Seminole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But WCW, what a weird year for WCW. They had, Ron Simmons become champion. Luger left. Flair was still gone. Jake Roberts came into the company for a little bit.
Very short period of time.
Very short
Yeah.
period of
Almost
time.
as short as other places, but
No,
anyway.
at least he came in.
Simon, you know what? Would we do a watch along for SummerSlam 92, where WWE is planning on doing a monster event in England? They haven't determined which stadium as of yet. Maybe we'll save that for, I believe it's going to be Labor Day weekend. But that's one of my favorites from that era was SummerSlam 92. So
Yeah.
I would almost guarantee you will see it in some form in 2022, even if they weren't doing anything big. It's the 30th anniversary.
The Hangman spot right there.
I remember being
Someone could lose an ear.
well.
Yeah.
I remember being very disappointed, not realizing that it wasn't live, as the results were in the Boston Herald the morning of SummerSlam 92.
I remember that.
Oh, I
Dan.
didn't like that, Phil. I didn't like that.
Yeah, they used to post the Boston Garden results all the time, which
And that
I
was
did like.
fine.
Pre-internet, I did. Yeah, and Walter Kowalski used to have a column in the paper back
And
in the
what
day.
was the guy's name?
What
Cliff
matches-
Ducey or Cliff Duncey or
Do you think that was a? But when I think
I'm
of
not
that,
sure.
was that really a two card match, a 2-match card?
SummerSlam 92?
I mean, what do you have? You had Brett and Bulldog, great match, which Brett will tell you how great he was in that match all day long. You had Warrior and Savage. You had Road Warriors and Money Inc., was it?
Yep.
And
that was
then
the opener on TV.
Martel and Michaels.
The heel versus heel, very rare.
And then I can't.
Undertaker and Kamala
Undertaker
was pretty
Kamala.
high up there. I think a lot of it was where there were so many tickets sold ahead of time, just the ambiance. You know, WWF was so hot in England or in Europe in general that it was going to do well. And then once you put Davey Boy in one of the featured matches, I mean, that was just gravy. I really don't do a really good Jesse Ventura imitation, Craig.
Well, the body. I don't know if I can.
Wow, McMahon.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Wow, McMahon.
JYD. I was your
Is it he?
governor.
Oh, that is JYD.
Oh, look at that junk food dog at that point.
Oh, God, he looked
Yeah.
old, doesn't he? He was, it's crazy how much he aged rapidly between 83 and 86, 87. That, when he left Mid-South, oh, my God.
Oh, Simon, do you mean that was the first pay-per-view you ordered or the first one you went to?
He's still a big star down there, I think, in New Orleans. Are the people who remember watching him?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So-
He's woven into legend down there, into the local lore, for sure.
Yeah, it's like, what a
It's too
territory.
bad he let his drug, I hate impersonal demons, his drug issues
Right.
get in the way of what could have been an even bigger career than,
But so over and didn't do anything on the ring. Even the WWF, he just kind of, he didn't do much. He do the headbutt spot. He do the slam. He do
Yeah.
a couple of things. He didn't do much, and he was over. People loved him. Charisma, again, he just had that charisma about him. But in Mid-South, that was really his best run.
Yeah.
I mean, God, what a great performer. He did do this thing. He would they had local promoters in Mid-South, so they went to a town like every 6 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
And then one guy was like a former Klan leader,
Yeah.
and he would like say,
Oh, my Lord.
he's like, I can't wait to go to this town and hang out with my good friend so and so. We're gonna eat watermelon and have some fried chicken and some grape soda. And then the Klan guy's friends would call him like, why is the Junkyard Dog saying he's gonna hang out with you? And he's like, you're not gonna hang out with
burying
me.
him.
He's just bidding me on, that was great. It was some town in Mississippi or out whatever it was, but
I really don't do a great Terry Funk impression either, even though I dined with the man so long that night with Ken Patera. I should have picked up on
you
some
do
of
Terry
his.
Funk?
I
No.
can't. I'd have to practice. Maybe I could, but
Well, Dan, I gotta go and my horse is sick.
that's actually pretty.
You'd have to listen to Barbara Streisand's Nose on YouTube, which I advise any great fan of Terry Funk to go and listen to. I know I could sing along to Barbara Streisand's Nose, just not in Terry's voice. JYD and Dwayne Bruce were easy to talk to at the gym around 94, 95. I asked JYD why the black wrestlers used the headbutt. He started laughing. Divorces took a lot of his money.
Tony had a great JYD story about he'd be hanging out with Tony, and JYD would have women come over and have sex with him, and they would pay him to have sex. He was a prostitute. He was prostituting himself. Did you hear that story?
Paydays.
Yeah, he was like, you got to give me a payday to have sex with me. He's like, we're the star. We should get paid to have sex, And he said, it makes sense to me, I guess.
Barbara Streisand's Nose.
You also-
Barbara Streisand's Nose.
Did Terry Funk really sing that?
You know what? I can't imagine we'd get a copyright strike for Barbara Streisand's Nose, but
Oof.
That's a very original title, though, I have to say.
it was supposed to be Lance Russell's Nose, but the people
Lance
there was
Russell. Great play-by-play guy.
Yeah.
Terry
Russell,
Funk
great.
had an actual album released in Japan, and I think this was during his Memphis days, and Jimmy Hart wrote Lance Russell's Nose,
that I can
and they
see.
figured no one would know what that was, so instead they gave us this.
Yeah, it's funny thing is they don't recall Lance Russell having a.
A wildly
14
big
seconds,
nose.
that's all it is?
No, that's the ad. I'm trying to get it off of mute. Wimpy might file suit about Barbara Streisand's nose. Oh, come on.
The magical all-in-one counter.
Now, when you hear our ads, we want you to watch them because we need the ad revenue, but
There's the funker. There's Terrence Funk. What a Renaissance man. He did everything, didn't he?
Acted, sang.
Yeah.
Sitting with the radio late last night, heard a knock at my door. Went through the window when I looked outside.
This is something we'd hear on Dr. Demento back in the day. It was a great radio show.
On the bathroom wall.
Oh, it's Abdullah.
Give me a try.
I unlocked the door and invited her in. It was then I realized
Lies.
she had
Barbra Streisand's nose.
Barbra Streisand's nose.
Oh, JYD's coming to the ring with
Oh,
his tux.
dear Lord. He might not make it by the end of the pay-per-view with the speed he was moving.
He might stop at the ice cream stand.
Ah, he would
He
have
should
shaved
have
that.
been there.
Boy, was I surprised.
Security doing a great job stopping him.
Eric's hips and Mick Jagger's lips and Farrah Fawcett's eyes. Dolly
It's one of the
Doug
longest
Dillinger.
run-ins I've ever seen.
Doug Dillinger taking a swipe at him.
I was doing all right till I turned on the light.
But the dog he had a Mexican's flair from like 90 at a Clash.
She had,
Barbra Streisand's
His
nose.
she had.
Barbra Streisand's
Look at the
nose.
gut he had too. Oh
He
god.
should have kept the coat on, but he was probably afraid he was going to rip it.
Barbra Streisand's nose.
Nose, nose.
Look,
Yeah.
he's got the
Well,
bow tie
fans,
on
I
like a
encourage you to
Chippendale
look that up on YouTube if so inclined.
Could you imagine?
That's great.
You didn't know there was a Terry Funk album,
I
Phil.
did
I
not.
did not
But I guess
either.
anything flies in Japan, huh?
Yeah. It was rather odd that he was talking sexually about men in this seduction of the woman that had Barbra Streisand's nose.
That is an odd.
Well, that's, I guess, well, I'm going to bite my lip before I.
Man, Ron should have kept his Jerry curl in the APA. What do you think?
He looked like Tonto from the Lone Ranger when he had the little headband around it too earlier. Yeah. Get JYD some oxygen stat. My goodness.
Well, we're cutting to something. I guess maybe the hotline.
I can't believe he was still around in '92. JYD.
Yeah, don't
Round
embellish
B.
a little too much there, Tony. He's never seen him look any better. Where was the only other time he saw him? The morgue?
I know, Tony. You shave that mustache, and all your common sense goes with it.
I'm a massive WWF guy. I only started watching WCW early Nitro. I picked a rotten pay-per-view. Halloween Havoc 95. Yes, that one sucked. Hogan versus the Giant in the monster truck abortion. You picked a lousy one.
When he was
To start with,
backing up over
Simon.
the building, he was like,
Was that when he
"Whoa."
threw him off the building?
Yeah,
Cobo
then he came back
Hall.
and worked the main event. Boy, was I surprised. She had Barbra Streisand's nose.
Hey, Vinny
I don't
Vegas.
remember this
These
pair.
What a
had-
combo,
Yeah,
huh?
these two had a little issue at one point.
Yeah, Ricky Morton was looking to score a payday with Kevin Nash.
Ricky Morton was a great performer, and Kevin
Oh,
Nash.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I knew Vinny Vegas was going to be on this.
Kevin Nash is someone that needs to be in this studio.
It'd be great.
Just based upon our late night 1, 2 o'clock in the morning conversations as he guzzled wine.
Phil, are you ready to hear my impression of you?
No, thank you.
I still think there's a lot of fans in the Boston area that think Phil is David Allen Boucher on 106.7
Only at
Magic.
night. Love songs after dark.
They need to play Barbra Streisand's nose though on Late Night Magic.
God, I wish they saw Dr. Demento. Maybe he's still on. I don't
Could
know.
that song
He had
come out
all those
today?
kinds of songs.
Probably not.
Barbra Streisand's nose?
That's on my.
I don't think it was ever released in the United States. It was just, the Japanese culture is different than ours, and they appreciated Terry in a different.
this
Oh,
is
what
a-
a team we have
Yes. Van Hammer, who looks like he just killed a cow, and Tom
here. A
Zink.
man that wished he had a little Lanny Poffo in him. The Z-Man.
Z-Man. Oh, John Nord spoke about Z-Man a little bit.
He's a Minnesota guy.
Minnesota guy. Are you going to be here for the John Nord?
I hope to be. Yeah.
2 weeks
I
from
wanna meet
tonight,
him.
live.
Yeah,
When
I want
night's
to
he
meet
gonna be
him for
here?
sure.
Sunday and Monday nights. Tuesday he'll be flying home.
I'll
by the
definitely be
time-
here for the Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, got to get your ass down here for Monday too. And this is Fridley's finest we're talking
I'll be
about.
here for Sunday.
Frid-
Fridley's
I
finest.
might make a
I'll
a
definitely-
Monday appointment, maybe two.
All right.
A
Well,
little bit.
the
I'd like
door
to do
is open.
both.
Well, we don't want to say it, put it quite like that.
I
But
hear ya.
We'll leave the lights on
I'll
for
be
you.
here
Thank
at
you.
least Sunday.
Would Luger come up here, or is it not worth it? Luger wants a ridiculous amount of money, Boston, which is probably the reason why we haven't had him yet. He is from Buffalo.
He's in Buffalo now, I think.
We were waiting to see. We're still waiting for Christ Savior to see if we're going to play a little 20 questions
Mm.
for a
We
great autograph prize.
We can just do it now if you
No,
want.
we got to get the super chats rocking, baby. We need to get numbers up, not up. Talking
Can't give
Viagra
away-
City.
Can't give away the store.
Hey, tell him, Phil. Tell him.
Van Ham.
Do you know Van Hammer loved his Virginia Slim cigarettes? Apparently, someone kayfabed.
He looked great though. They definitely helped his. I mean,
Well, more than anything, they're a woman's cigarette. They're like these skinny little cigarettes. But I mean, I guess that shouldn't be so judgmental.
well, maybe maybe it helped his physique.
You very well
Would
could have.
Luger's interviews be more boring than his matches?
He's actually a great interview. He's so humble and he's so easy to go.
Now
in
he, now he is. Yeah.
He's one of the ones that I believe did find God in his own way. And
Legitimate,
he stayed with it. Yeah.
Transformation.
Yeah. And that's good for him. What a difficult thing. Well, I know
What
what
did
I
John-
went through with my body, and it's nothing compared to his.
Yeah.
What's that now?
had a white Tom Zink had a white Corvette. Ran into him when he was in WCW at the grocery store. The late '80s and '90s were a good time. I could see Zink driving a white Corvette.
Yeah.
You think he ever ran into someone with Barbara Streisand's nose?
No, but
Playing girls in cars on the CD player, maybe.
He almost looks like he's paying homage to the model Rick Martel in the outfit that he has on tonight.
well, him and Rick Bartel were kind of close at one
In
point.
more than no ways than one, yeah.
So the story goes.
You have to ask the Hammer and Don Morocco.
Well, Greg Valentine, I don't know how much he can be trusted on certain things.
Who?
Greg Valentine.
Well, we'd have to ask Annie. She's the aficionado when it comes to the Hammer. Dan, have you thought about Damian Demento as a guest? Just don't call him a jobber. I think with Damian Demento, it would probably be pretty short. I don't know how many episodes we'd get out of someone like Damian Demento, but fun fact, he was on the first live event that I ever worked for the late Boston bad boy Tony Rumble just a couple of months after he was released by WWF at the time. And he didn't wrestle. He actually did commentary with the Jackal. October 23rd, 1993, Wakefield, Massachusetts.
If I told you that one of these three were going to be a WWF World Champion in 3 years, who would you get? Who would you say? Zank.
I probably would have
Still going
leaned more
with it.
towards Van Hammer.
Okay.
I'd have gone for Vegas just because he was so huge, and that's what.
Craig, I'm almost
But Van
insulted.
Green as
Hammer-
grass.
Van Hammer looks phenomenal though. Look at Van Hammer's body; it's
Yeah.
insane.
Craig Badway, I'm almost insulted by your question.
I have to say this. I've always been a big. I wouldn't say I've always been a big body guy, but I've always enjoyed a good physique. I don't know
Yeah.
how you feel about that, Dan. Have you
Well,
always-
you're on the gas.
I'm not on the gas. But
But look at this question.
I've always-
Are you as insulted by it as I am?
I'm gonna have to come around and read
Who's
that.
Annie the ass eater?
Who is Annie the Ass Eater?
Someone
Oh.
who should be forgotten in
Well,
history.
put it this
Someone
way:
that belongs in the celebrity wing of the WWE Hall of Fame.
Little Orphan Annie did sing "The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow," and this Annie's used to
Oh!
sing. Oh,
What happened?
speaking of botched leapfrogs,
I didn't even look. I was looking at the screen. What happened? I just looked down for a second.
Wow.
Someone was trying to do a leapfrog, and it went the wrong way.
and it's just a graze
Oh, my
sometimes.
God.
It
And
can
those
sing.
I
are
literally
two,
didn't
those
see it. I
are
was
two
looking at
big
the-
guys.
Yeah.
Who hit who? Who was trying to leapfrog? Van Hammer?
I think Van Hammer's ball sack landed on Vinny Vegas's head.
It was a teabag.
Hey, Mr. Wonderful, how are you, brother?
But Annie of our fame would sing "The Moon Will Come Out Tomorrow."
Baby.
Zank, get in the match, man. Van Hammer, do you think he was on the gas, Phil?
Yes. Oh, don't.
I could,
My lord,
yeah.
Mr. Cameraman, get a close up of that
I
back
think the only one that
acne.
wasn't in the gas was probably Richard Morton here.
Well, he might have been too, but he just wasn't training.
I
too
hate
much.
this spot so much. Every time I see it, it drives me insane.
The 10 punch count?
Yes,
Can you tell us why?
because it's bad enough when you're watching a wrestling match and a giant man, Van Hammer's size, he's probably a good, 6'6", 6'7", punches you once and there's no black and blue or blood or a scratch, but yet he'll punch you 10 times and there's no scratch or blood or black and blue or anything like that. So I detest that spot.
I can dig it.
Even if they had Barbara Streisand's nose. Now I'm
Yeah.
going to have this stupid song in my head all night. You're right, J.A. Van Hammer was a stiff. He was on super gas.
I reckon so.
But no, I was just saying, I always was a fan of a good body, but I always really appreciated the guys who are really lean, because it's so hard to stay lean. Everyone
Kind of like John C. Manicus Riley.
No, John C. Manicus Riley, of course. But you know what I mean, Phil? Like you've trained quite a bit in your life. It's so tough to be lean. A lot of guys can get size easy, but it's hard to be lean.
Whoa!
Unless you're on
Nice
some
bump.
good Winstrol or something, which is
Did you ever experiment with any?
never ever.
No.
I can honestly say, never ever. I haven't been much of a supplement guy either. Maybe a little Metrics back in the day. I've been thinking of getting a little creatine in me. I don't know.
Well, you're in phenomenal shape. What's your regimen now?
4 days
You're
a week.
talking to me.
4 days a week of
Damn, that's a good one. You're funny.
4 days of lifting, and I just ended the running streak about a month ago. It was 427 consecutive days.
Wow.
But
How do your knees feel?
knees are fine. It's all in how your foot strikes. Too many people come down on their heels, whether they walk or they run, and that just adds infinite
So
pressure.
when you come
to
down, what do you?
in front of the foot?
Balls of the foot?
Yeah, front of the foot.
You think Goldberg will resign with WWE after Elimination Chamber? I think Goldberg has put himself. Well, I think he just lands at the perfect time, Danny. Where there's big money to be spent all around with both companies.
We need to
and
read some of
Goldberg is a free agent.
We need
Love
to read
him.
Ja Will. Ricky Morton was a nice guy. There was a Wendy's next to the gym. He did insult a worker. He insulted a Wendy's worker.
Who did?
Ricky Morton, apparently.
Did he?
Yeah. Now,
Didn't Cornette do that too?
Dairy Queen.
The Dairy
Yeah.
Queen. Okay.
Close. Steve Lombardi, I would have an interest in to some degree.
would you want to ask him certain questions?
Oh, of course. But we sat with him once at WrestleCon, and him and Johnny are a buddy, but
Mr.
sometimes you can tell
Cena.
it's a personality you really don't want to spend much time with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can I just say, we always joke about certain talents in wrestling that might have an
Yes.
affinity for homosexual relations.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with homosexual relations. There's some
Sounds
of
like Seinfeld here.
yeah. No, there's some of the best relations. And I think that
Charlie.
what? It's 2022.
I hear
Well,
you.
here's my thing. How could a guy, and there's always the rumors of Phil Lombardi and Pat Patterson. Of Pat Patterson and Steve
Phil.
Lombardi. Phil, I'm not watching. But here's my problem. How could a man like Pat Patterson be into a guy like Steve Lombardi and vice versa? I don't see those guys ever getting together. Well, I mean, with Steve
Who knows what
Everybody
makes someone
needs
like
love, man.
Tell
you
him,
know?
Phil.
But
Tell him.
Pat seems to be more of a man who likes a bit of a finer.
A more sympathetic lover, perhaps.
Well, not someone who looks and sounds like Steve Lombardi. That's all I'm trying to say.
You think Lombardi was a little gruff for Patterson?
I think Patterson wouldn't be Patterson's type. I think Ray Stevens. I'm not going to say Ray Stevens. No offense to Ray Stevens.
Ray Stevens was not angled that way, I don't believe.
No, but maybe someone like
Arguably one of the best. Well, I think Ric Flair is, in his
Said the best
estimation,
worker, right?
Stevens is up there
Yeah.
in his
Too
regard.
bad there isn't much footage of him.
No.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, and sadly we got to see, and even his WWF was before many people's time.
I mean, I would say Ray Stevens. We have more footage of someone like Buddy Rogers, who, for my opinion, might be the most influential worker of all time. Just of all, I think everything comes from Rogers as
Well,
far
he
as
was
the
a
modern.
politician first and foremost. I think behind the scenes was Rogers, and he had his own troop of people, his own opponent. He was working behind the scenes.
Well, I know Bruno wasn't a fan of Rogers, but I will say this.
not at
I
all.
will say this, and no offense to Bruno. If you ask me who I hold in a higher opinion as a worker, Buddy I think even Bruno would admit Bruno was not what Rogers was in the ring. I think Rogers.
Bruno connected more to people, though. I mean,
As a
you can't
babyface.
argue with his. He was just special.
In Japan, he was huge as a heel.
Bruno? That I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know he spent that much time as a heel.
I know he wrestled Baba a few times over there.
He was
sure.
a monster heel in Japan.
But I would say, well, John Will says Gorgeous George was more influential than Rogers. Ali was influenced by Gorgeous George. Gorgeous George,
Oh yeah, he's the original.
But I think Rogers, more of Rogers' material is out there to be seen.
To be honest, I haven't seen a lot of him either.
I saw him versus Thez from like Chicago, and he did the Mick Foley bump into
From
the ropes.
Dumont Network,
and it was amazing. It might have been.
Yes, Smithers, the new Dumont Network.
But I think Rogers is probably for my money, most influential worker of all time. You know, some people might say someone like Shawn Michaels. There might be an argument for that, but I would still go with Rogers over Shawn Michaels as far as influential.
I have to say, I don't think I've ever seen Kevin Nash do as much in one match as I have in this one. I am mystified. I'm blown away.
Yeah.
Charlie sounds like he misses Pat Patterson. You know, I wish I could have met Pat Patterson. I think I would have liked Pat a lot.
Wimpy would say that Kevin Nash might be aggressively soliciting a push. I don't know.
You may have some trouble with emailing too.
Sometimes I get messages from Dan and I don't respond, and he'll send me a couple. So I'm going to write to you after you send me a couple. Stop aggressively soliciting me.
Yeah, I agree with that, Ryan. Superstar Billy Graham, even though he was a piece of garbage, was very influential too.
Graham was, yeah. But I think
when you look at Dusty in Florida.
Where would you put Fez?
I mean,
he kind of
his
bridged
peak
two
was
worlds.
probably 40 years before I was born.
As far as influential.
Yeah.
As far as influential.
It's hard to say unless I saw them and kind of lived it. It's kind of hard for me to say.
Fez is kind of in between the old carnival roots and the real old shooters, and then what we have today.
He was the last of like the Strangler Lewises.
Yeah,
and all that.
Exactly. He was a protege of Strangler Lewis and spoke very highly of.
Oh, we have some Superstar Billy Graham fans in the room. I insulted apparently.
You like to insult.
I don't like Billy Graham. He's another thief. But
Men of the hour, the tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
I'd still like to interview him though. He did for the time frame he worked. He made a boatload of money amongst one of the highest paid athletes in the country.
What's Brian asking?
Very respected too, and just
who are three of you guys' fave tag teams of all time?
Well, I think one of them will be on tonight. Maybe two of them. Both Steiners are on, I think. I think the Steiners are on tonight.
Yeah, they were still here at this point.
Yeah, so I think they're up there. Gosh.
God, this match finally ended, huh? Steiners are up there. As far as the tag teams I saw as a kid,
of course, Demolition. I mean,
Well,
awesome.
you know my affinity for Demolition.
They're number one in your book.
That's as much personal as it is professional.
Oh, absolutely.
But even back when before I knew them personally, they were right up there.
Great everything, yeah.
I mean, the Bulldogs.
I love the Bulldogs, too.
I mean, people say Road Warriors, but to me, as great as the Road Warriors were, they were a one-trick pony. Once you saw it, there wasn't much more to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's people that talk about teams like Blockwinkle and Stevens. And I mean, I never saw them. How the hell am I supposed to judge that?
Or Patterson and Stevens.
Yeah, Patterson's and Stevens out in San Francisco, right?
Chuck.
Well,
I don't know about that.
Put them in there either.
But from my experience, so when I grew up watching, and I've told this to Dan, and Dan rolls his eyes. I
don't know what you mean.
Some of my favorite matches as a kid watching were Eminem and Kendrick and London. I really enjoyed those tag teams.
Eminem was superb.
But Kendrick and London were just as good as any babyface tag team at that time. I thought they were great. I really like the Briscoe brothers, modern day tag teams. I think the Briscoes are great from Ring of Honor.
Are they talking about Jack and Jerry?
No, they were good too. But I would say
Briscoe with an E.
Arn and Tully, Arn and Ole. I actually have to say those Steiners are up there, obviously. Rock and Roll, the Midnights.
Rock and Roll, definitely.
It's hard to say a favorite. I mean,
And I'm a guy that loves his tag team wrestling. I like Don and Tully a lot.
Bulldogs were great. Heart Foundation was wonderful. Strike Force. I think Strike Force was pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, they had a very,
Yeah.
very short run, but
Were you a Young Stallion fan, Dan?
their matches were never all that bad. They just, they were just job guys with a theme song.
I go back to Martel and Gurria back then too. We thought they were the height of it all before. Tony Gurria, the consummate tag team wrestler too.
Harlem Heat.
No, I've never understood people's affinity for them.
Hey, speaking of affinities, it's your good buddy Deuce.
Please.
Did you get to meet Medusa on November 13th?
Just very briefly, maybe in passing. Didn't have much interaction. Again, I just didn't get the.
I wish I could have said the same thing.
You know,
I didn't catch the vibe from her. I just.
It's funny you say that because she blew me a kiss, and then I was looking at her, and I was like, "Oh, that's nice." And then Phil put her in the crossface chicken wing and dragged
Did he? Good.
I pushed Charlie out of the way and I caught the kiss.
Yeah.
Like in a cartoon. Like in a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
She didn't look like that November 13th.
No.
She was weird, Phil. She was really nice to me 1 second and then very much in my face wanting to know what we were doing next. It was very hot and cold. She ended on nice terms with me, but I felt like it was just like she kept asking me like, we're not going to do this. And I'm like, lady, I don't even really know this Dan guy. I think I told her at one point, I'm like, I don't really know what this guy's like. I don't know. I just know that.
Geez, thanks. I'm sure that really helped the cause.
Just kidding.
Sometimes you come up with some winners. That
boosted
a little
her
one.
I didn't
confidence.
say that.
Oh, all right.
I'm joking with you. I remember she wanted her money up front, and I said, listen, I understand what you're trying to say. I understand what you're saying to me, but
You're a con artist.
but the deal with Dan is she was trying to make it seem like I knew what was going on. And I said, first of all, I don't know what's going on. Second of all, Dan and you would have had that agreement beforehand, if anything.
Yeah.
That's
And
what I
then
said.
she showed up at the airport
So
with her demands. Ugh.
I mean, and again, she was like, well, it's not your fault. But I just want, and then I was there when she called you brother, and I just walked away at that point because it was
Several times she called me brother.
Neil was was there at that point. I thought, you know what, I'm better off.
That was a good time to eliminate yourself from the equation.
Yeah, I was like a jobber at that point. Just bump me out the ring, and I'll take a.
I have one question about Medusa. Where did she park the monster truck?
Well, she left some of her items in my car. She went shopping on Main Street.
You drove.
Did she forget them?
No, I wanted her to
that's
have.
too bad.
I wanted her to have. No, because I didn't want
I
her to
would've
come
returned
back
them.
and say I stole something or whatever. You know, I didn't. I believe in you should never give someone a reason to say anything bad about you as much as possible.
What about Barbara Streisand's nose?
Well, that's a completely different subject. But you know what? I did defend you to her. I didn't.
Thank you.
I said, you know, Dan is not a con artist. I said he's a little corny-ish at times, yes, but he's not a con artist. You know, he might have a sign that says "Come see the chicken-eating freak," but other than that, he's a good guy. You know, like the carnies where they like come see the freak show. You know.
Come see the milk guzzling freak. No.
And to be fair, Marty
We have
was there.
one of those.
Marty was defending you actually.
And you know what? That's why Marty will be back here long before that other piece of garbage, Tony Atlas, ever will.
No, Marty was defending you, and Justin Credible was saying good things about you. He was kind of tired, but he was
He
saying.
was very tired.
Have you heard from Justin recently?
Yes, today, as a matter of fact.
How's it going with that?
He said he was trying, even though we were supposed to speak on Tuesday, I had to send him another tweet to try and get his attention publicly.
Was he paying for a
And then he
hamburger
said,
Tuesday?
I've been trying to get a hold of you. I said, oh, well, I'm in the same place every day of my life.
He's at a
Or
farm,
on the
baby.
same social media outlets every day of my life. I'm not a difficult man to find.
This is like a great match, by the way. Just
Yeah.
everyone involved. I know you're not a big Zbyszko
No,
guy,
no.
but I think Zbyszko was pretty good for what he did. Underrated as a worker. And I think obviously Steve Austin's about hitting his physical prime. Wyndham was still good at this point.
Wyndham was great.
God, Wyndham might be the greatest. I don't know if I've ever seen a worker as great as Barry Wyndham at his prime. At his prime,
there
at
we
his
go.
peak, Phil. Can you think of anyone better than Wyndham?
He had it all. He had the size. He had the.
He looked a little anorexic at that point.
He had the motor. Who did? Big Bear.
Yeah, a little on the thin side, but
Here, you
Oh,
should-
not here, no.
Yeah.
But when he first, you talking about? I thought he meant when he first broke in.
Oh, you're totally right, Dan. When he called himself Blackjack Mulligan Jr., he was a beanpole, skinnier than Kendall Windham, I think, at the when Kendall
He
first
needed
started.
the gas.
Yeah.
Well, here he looked kind of more solid.
Yeah,
Um,
thicker.
So
He was a hypermobile ectomorph, as I once referred to Captain Lowe.
well, I only get a window was on the gas here.
No,
Just on the Labatt's 50-50 or
The chicken wing and Labatt's diet. Right?
whatever it was. Yeah, the good barbecue and beer, I
So
think.
was Dustin Rhodes.
at least he looked like a physical threat.
Barry did work out.
Yeah.
He didn't train with weights. He did cardio and calisthenics and things, or so he admits,
It's almost
He
like
was
if he just had a
conditioned.
clean diet, he probably would have been very lean. Whatever. I can't say what he was eating, but I'm just guessing.
Yeah, well,
Oh, great DD. I like his DDT too.
Billy Jack Haynes kicked Barry's ass badly in the locker room. I never heard that one.
So Justin
that was
Credible-
just a one shot and literally
Yeah.
like a one shot thing, I think. He
What-
he asked Blackjack's permission first, and he just
well, that was
hit him.
respectful of
Yeah,
him.
just I think he hit him once or whatever.
What happened with Justin Credible though? He said I've been trying to get in touch.
That was about it. I
Oh.
responded to him and I said, we'd love to have you back to the studio. Let's set it up. And there'll probably be another week or two. And then,
Medusa was looking very good here though. I have to
oh, I
say.
thought you were going to say November 13th.
She didn't look bad, I mean, she didn't look
Well, John Nord wasn't very complimentary of her.
like. I've heard. I saw the comments. I heard the comments, and I was puzzled by the comments, like anyone else was.
I said, John, what would you ask her if you would interview her? What do you think? You have gold-plated nipples? Do you think you have a golden clit? All she fucking does is talk about herself with her sagging tits and her sagging ass.
Hey, John Will talked about Kendall Windham. World-class jerk ran into him at the same
Oh.
Wendy's next to the gym hotel.
It was a
was
busy,
next door to the
busy
gym
Wendy's.
as well, late 80s. Well, also, maybe he was upset because he was getting indicted by the federal government at that
Yeah.
point. So
He tried to pass some counterfeit. Well, never mind.
At the
Maybe he got
Wendy's.
caught- at the Wendy's, maybe. Yeah, him and Blackjack.
He met up with Wimpy.
Billy Jack Haynes said, Dalton, were you in contact with Billy Jack Haynes? I could play you just to verify with Mr. Wilson that I am indeed telling the truth. Voicemail. What name does it say? The last one?
that does say the name of BGA.
Billy Jack Haynes. So where is it? Dalton, if you know of a way to get a hold of Billy Jack Haynes, I would be delighted to have that man here
What
in
was the
this.
date on that one?
That's a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
I never saw it, Dalton. I couldn't tell you, but if you know how to get a hold of Billy Jack, we would love to have him here. I think it would be a very interesting conversation, don't you?
I think it'd be out there. I don't know. He seems like a nice guy at heart.
Who?
Billy Jack.
He's out of his fucking mind.
At heart, he
He-
seems like a nice
yeah.
guy.
Other than
So let me ask you: would you, if you got the chance to have a Billy Jack Haynes here, though, would you be worried about how he would be between the seats? You know, getting to the building, leaving the building, all that.
to some extent.
Would you feel safe with Billy Jack Haynes? Would you feel like he's a little dangerous? Do you know any other people that are dangerous?
It's always Danny Davis.
yeah, I was just
but,
thinking of him.
Oh,
whoops. Another miss. But he
uh-oh.
really missed.
Hmm.
So who do you think was the best worker out of the four here, Phil? But not counting Medusa, of course.
Good question. Maybe Barry Windham right now, maybe. I don't know.
At this
Austin
moment-
was getting there too.
Yeah.
Austin was great.
At this-
Always
yeah.
great.
And Dustin was getting.
Dustin was good. Oh, very good too. And Zabisco,
Zabisco was good. I think Zabisco was
good
a
at working the crowd.
Yeah.
Definitely good at stall
That was
tactics,
his art, yeah.
psychology.
Yeah.
He's really good at that.
Zabisco, if he was out today, would either be the greatest heel in wrestling or he'd be the worst heel in wrestling, depending on who you asked.
Yeah.
You know, but like a smart fan today would hate Zabisco.
He wouldn't have the time to do his thing on these TV shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I
Where
think-
they're so
yeah.
Crash
time
and burn.
constrained.
And the
Did you
sad thing
imagine
is,
him
too-
trying to do 20 minutes of him trying to just walk outside the ring to get the crowd riled up?
And I
It
think
wouldn't work.
And I think too, his look, not that he was in bad shape, but he came from that Bruno school of thought of we lift heavy weights and eat chicken parms all day. You know, that real old
He was
school.
strong.
You know?
The thing about strength is too. There are some people in the business and out of the business who don't look strong, but can be very strong.
Good tendon strength.
You know? Well, as Gordon said, yeah. But
some guys like, oh God, some of them have like YouTube vlogs now. Some of the pro wrestlers out today have vlogs where they video log and they talk about their lifts and they work out. And one of them was Sammy Guevara of AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
oh, that must have been an interesting one.
And I'm like, well, he's in good shape, but it's like he doesn't look like he lifts a lot of weights. He looks like he lifts weights, but he looks like he takes like 30-pound weights and does curls, or he does like 150 on a bench press.
Yeah.
So it's like, to me, it's like I'd rather look like I lift heavy weights than actually lift heavy weights. That's me.
I gotcha. Yeah.
You know?
Could Phil take Billy Jack? Is a question we have here.
I think so.
I could take him to Kowloon.
Wait. Billy Jack
I'd
today?
gladly take him. I could take him
Billy
to
Jack
Kowloon.
today or Billy Jack from 1984?
Well, I've never been on the gas, so I
To get big, you have to lift heavy.
Well, if I couldn't take him,
Yeah,
I'm
John
comfortable
Will's
I could
right.
outrun him.
John Will's
Could outrun him. There you go. I don't think Billy did 427 consecutive days.
Right on.
2,000 Billy Jack.
I'm right in the middle.
Hmm.
How about USWA Billy Jack when he got fat with a mullet?
Mm.
That might be a little bit more. Phil would be found on the track, says Dalton.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
I throw him the Chattahoochee.
Phil puts people on the tracks, all right?
What I want to know is where the hell is John C?
Yeah.
Maybe he's on the tracks. Oh, we don't need John C.
Our dear John C. The C stands for curious about wrestling.
No, well, it's
I heard Billy Jack Haynes was a smoker.
a pole smoker.
What's that?
Fellatio.
More Italian dessert, Dan.
You know how many people actually give fellatio? It's like 20 that don't give fellatio. Seriously. People-
Well, your stats aside,
My
Billy
stats-
Jack said something interesting. I don't know how I meant that, but it
It's
came
fine.
out well.
And Dan is always like,
I'd
nice.
say it came out funny, but there's probably another joke there.
No,
but,
the funny thing is Dan is always like, every time Dan will say, nice guy, but I realize fellatio, like that takes out the nice guy part.
Who have I ever said that about?
He said that about a few people.
Have I?
Slaughter
Well,
that was a Marty
I'm only
story,
going by
too.
what Marty
with his
said.
shelf chin.
Well, yeah. Well, and
What
you're the one
happened-
who brought up the fact that it'd be a nice rest for someone's
Yeah,
testicular
I
fortitude.
I did, yes.
What happened to Kevin Manicus Hart? He's very busy at Emerson College. We have not seen much of Manicus. I've enjoyed Tex. Hopefully, we'll have him back sooner than later. I think he's someone that could really add a lot to what we do.
Yeah.
He's knowledgeable about wrestling, even more knowledgeable about video production, which is what we really need. So hopefully, we'll see the little fella soon. He fits in a carry-on luggage.
Is he in your pocket, Charlie?
In my
Oh,
back
he's not
pocket.
that little.
Dan needs to ask Marty. Well, hopefully Marty will be back here in studio soon, fans. Again, we are, I think, at 94% of the way to the goal to have Marty back in studio live. If you want Marty back live, baby, here is a prize-filled Indiegogo campaign. I'll give you the link.
How much do we have saved up for Marty in terms of how many days we could have? 94%, we've got to be.
That'd be a 3-day special.
So 4 days would be just like an extra 6% would get us a fourth day.
We'd have to probably pump it up to about 3-ish, maybe a little more, because they charge tax and fees and so on. But we're close.
You know, Marty was hanging out with Medusa quite a bit on that day.
They used to be an item
Really?
for a short period of time in the AWA days. Yeah,
Sure.
I wonder if Medusa regrets not staying with Marty.
probably not. Probably not. I would think that would be a difficult life for any female, but you never know.
I think so too. But she looked great here.
You know, the thing is, Dalton, they don't know, the Sheik doesn't know when his birthday is. It might be March or it might be September. And, maybe we.
Quincy Rastani.
I just think the Sheik, the way he sounds is, I don't think you guys would enjoy it all that much.
Sheik worked out at J.A. Will's gym. Now, John, did you own the gym or were you just someone who worked at the gym?
I think he just waited in the parking lot to see who was going to come in.
You go to the Wendy's and wait.
The Wendy's, yeah. Him and Kendall Windham said if he slipped in one of the hundreds, could he get him a Frosty? Then John Nord was jealous. I forgot the fucking Frosty.
Mr. Wonderful says top 5 badasses in history of wrestling: Haku, Harley Race, Billy Jack Haynes, Rick Rude, and Barbarian.
You gotta stop the Haku shit. Watch episode 1 of Wrestling Insider's
Do you hear
Throwback
that?
Thursdays to hear
No.
John Nord spots
Oh, he worked out
on
in the gym 5 days a
Haku.
week.
Who?
Ja Will.
Oh,
He worked out there.
does Marty get his teeth fixed, or is he still using that paper tooth gimmick?
Let's ask
Simon, I don't know. I don't think I only saw Marty for virtual moments on November 13th. How was it? Did he have the paper tooth at Memorial Hall when he said Piggott was flirting with him?
He seemed fine
There's some
about his
truth to
teeth.
that.
Jay, well, I'm going to ask if you saw a few people at the gym, if I can. Did you ever have experiences with Bagwell, Disco Inferno, and Alex Wright, Das Wunderkind?
I think he worked out in his leather coat.
Yep, Disco, Bagwell, and Alex Wright. I don't think they did because they probably went to Luger and Sting's gym, but I wonder if he did.
Main Event Fitness, you mean? I think that's what it was called.
Yes.
Yes, Dalton.
Those
he
guys
did.
on the north side, so they went to Main Event.
He said he walked in on it.
Walked in on him.
I've never heard of it quite described as that, though, an anal masturbation problem.
You talking about Annie again?
No, Dalton said, Marty said
Okay.
Shawn
That's
Michaels had an anal masturbation problem.
checking the oil, I guess.
What's
Yeah.
Atlanta like now? Is it a cool town to visit or live in, or is it like something to get away from? As someone who wants to get away from the winter time, I might want to move one day, and maybe Atlanta's a good place. I don't know.
Well, I'd like to ask Ja about. I don't know if I ever asked him if he.
I know they have Gay Black Pride down there. That sounds like a cool time. Just for a friend. A friend told me that.
Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend.
I want to know if he's gone to Goldberg's Obaki gym, the MMA.
Oh yeah.
He's got one down there.
You know, I gotta say about Zbyszko. He had. Is it me or did he have some really thin legs?
Now let's take a look. I never really.
What do you think, Phil? You think maybe they're not that thin? I thought they were a little bit thinner at an angle. Justin has thinner legs, I think, than Larry Z, but
I'd like to get Zbyszko, an interview with him on if we ever do a Wrestle House down in Florida again. But I think
did
he's
a
starting to
song,
slip
too.
a little bit. Larry
Scarhead?
Zbyszko
Yes,
sang.
Boo
Really?
on Me was the name of
What
his
was it
song.
called?
Boo on Me,
Oh, I thought
believe.
you said Blow on Me. I was going to say that's the hell of a song.
Yeah, no, but he did.
What
Yeah.
company was this with now?
I don't know. This was like I think independently sold in the old wrestling magazines.
Oh, all right.
But he did. Blassie had a tune that was on Dr. Demento, Pencil Neck Geek, and
I remember that one.
Jerry Lawler. They had one. Jerry Lawler,
On
he's
Bad
the
News.
king. He can do anything.
But-
It was, and that was around the time of the Kaufman.
did he do Bad News as well? I'm Old Bad News. Or was that
Who's it?
before?
Bad News Brown?
No, Jerry Lawler had a song called Bad News. I'm Just Old Bad News. He had a song called that.
I don't know, but they did a takeoff on Ghostbusters years ago called Wimp Busters, and
Maybe
it
Wimpy
targeted-
was involved.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Ja Will
Him and
says-
Jimmy Hart.
Atlanta's a good place to live when you are in the suburbs. The young people with money like living downtown. Or down.
Downtime, but maybe he meant downtown.
Okay, cool.
I like Atlanta.
I
I like-
prefer the country. Yeah,
Well,
Atlanta's good. Yeah.
I want to move away one day, I think.
Why do you want to move?
Look at Dan getting upset that I might be leaving the look at that, look at that Cheshire cat smell. You can't move, Charlie. I'll be taking the boxes out of your car so you can stay here forever. Honestly, I've lived here my whole life and it's too cold for my liking, and I want to try to go somewhere where I can make it on my own.
Charlie, when the
Make it on
magnetic
your own here too.
Huh?
You could make it on your own here too.
No, I don't know. I mean, maybe I could, but I want to try something different. I don't have to go there forever. Though Dan would find me no matter where I lived, and he would say, "You kind of come this Sunday. We're going to be watching SummerSlam '95."
Well, I don't think you're going to be heading to California, Charlie, because they've run out of U-Hauls out there. Everyone's fleeing the state, apparently. And I kid you not, they've run out of U-Haul trucks.
Why are people leaving California of all things? I've heard so many things, but what's the actual problem?
Natural disasters. Maybe they don't like
Yeah, the fires every year.
Mudslides, you know.
I actually visited California years ago I loved it. It's beautiful. The only thing I noticed about it was it's extremely expensive to live out there.
That's a bit too.
Now I heard
Public
someone.
transportation, gas is very expensive right now. Of course,
But
I think crime is a mounting factor in some of the cities too. So
I always liked the South, to be honest with you.
maybe a little Texas for you.
I would try my hand at anything in the South.
Great punches by Big Barry.
Oh, Big Bear.
Flying lariat. Yeah, baby. JR, call it. Campbell Soup Boy. A la Dan. Oh, he's going for a pre-Widowmaker superplex, perhaps. Uppercut. Nope. Yeah, maybe. Nope.
If I was moving somewhere, Dan would have me take some studio equipment down and do promos to send into the studio, probably.
No, you'd have to do it in an area where we could do Wrestle House, I guess.
All right.
Maybe we'll have to send you
my
down
home
to
would be
Tampa
Wrestle
or
House.
Orlando.
My home would be Wrestle House.
Yes, well, at least we'd save a little bit on the Verbo charges that we had to waste because of birdseed teeth. But
It depends. Oh,
there was an article in the Globe about how the population in Massachusetts has been decreasing too.
I believe that too.
COVID, you think, had a big part of that?
I don't know about COVID. I just think it's another place that's expensive to live. It's cold.
Yeah, those are all factors.
And that's
indeed.
and that's a big thing for me. It's like, I grew up here, and it's like my sister is going to look at a place to rent with her boyfriend, and they went to Medford today.
Medford,
yes.
Medford.
And two bedrooms in a house. I don't know the apartment at all. I just know it's a 2-bedroom with no utilities included. And guess how much the person wanted?
In Medford.
Yes.
Well, Medford's close to. Look at the Michigan code on Eric Bischoff.
How did he get that
It's
code?
north of Boss, so.
That wasn't
Rick
the Steiner's
Steiner's
code.
maybe? I don't know.
I don't know
Well,
if it would fit him.
Maybe that was before. What's his name? Braun Breaker was even born. You know what?
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
What a stud he is. My God.
He's great.
I love him.
He has got a great look, just a great everything.
Great
and
body, great
he
looking
sounds
kid.
just like.
Athletic as hell.
Oh my Lord.
Gets wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, one of the people you look forward to seeing, and I don't think we have enough of that.
Him
right
and Austin
now.
Theory are the two best young guys in the business, in my opinion. Maybe you could put MJF in there, but MJF doesn't have that.
Little fella.
Yeah, well, not even Yofa. He just doesn't have that standout factor like those two do.
You know, it's interesting with some of his promos, and it's good to be edgy, but crossing the line can be just too easy sometimes.
Well, he
you
flips
know,
the
it's a
kid.
delicate kind
Yeah.
of balance.
I always think when he flips the kid off, someone's parent's going to
that's anyone can do that. So I don't know that there's art to that. You know,
Phil, that's exactly the reason why I think the Bubba Ray Dudley was overrated as a heel, because he just went in and called people cocksuckers and all kinds of stuff at ECW, and I just think anyone can do that.
I don't know that that's a departure from his personality, though. I don't know.
Well, he's doing that out of the ring too.
I don't know. You saw the picture of me and him. Did you see?
What?
We were getting rabbit
Hey, it's
ears.
our good friend Deuce.
Oh, I thought you were going to say John C. Manicus Riley. I
know.
heard some noise.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know if it's Percy or if it's John.
Who is
C.
this in the mask?
I have no idea.
Well, Medusa might blow him.
Probably going to
A
ask him
kiss,
for
you
money.
mean.
Is it true that Scott Steiner called Bubba Ray fat? I have no idea,
Probably
Dalton.
did. And I think Bubba Ray said, "Thank you, sir." Yeah,
John Nord would disagree with you, Mr. Wonderful. He says he took out Harco. Ox Baker was great. He's someone I wish we did more with here in the studio.
Yeah, and he would live down in Connecticut.
Yeah. He actually did a couple of musicals with Quincy.
Did he?
Yes.
Now that is a trip, my friend. That is awesome.
They had
God.
the Ox Baker and Quincy Christmas special.
Oh wow!
It's one
I
for the
hope
ages.
it's documented somewhere.
Yeah, but it is.
Oh, that's incredible.
that is.
Wow.
Neither one of them knew the words to the songs. It was
I love it. Two
I worked
kindred
a couple
spirits
shows with
drawn
Ox.
together in the holidays.
Back in the day, I worked a couple shows. Very nice guy.
Ox was great. Yeah.
Ox was a grovel. He could have been a Grandpa Douglas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He always looking for that free meal.
Yeah. Well, he and Quincy made quite.
He could have
the-
been Grandpa Rastani.
Ox Baker actually went to Quincy's house once.
He was at Mr. Rastani, man.
Him and this guy, great guy, Don Klein, looked like he could have been one of the Hillbilly Jim posse back in the mid 80s, but they had, I don't know why they had to drive Quincy home to pick something up. But they did, and they get to meet Patera.
Wow.
Was Medusa a pain in the ass? Boston asks.
Like a bleeding hemorrhoid.
Paul Orndorff was a badass. Very tough man, but a good man, a man's man. Man I have a lot of respect for, a man I'm proud to say was here in this studio multiple times, much like the man in the ring, Gary Michael Capetta, another one that was known to, well, I don't even have to go there.
I think the man in the mask might have been Rude.
Way too small,
No, yeah.
height-wise.
Yeah. No, Rude had already debuted by this point in early 90s. Yeah, he was already here.
How funny. Arn looks the same and Paulie looks so different. You know? I mean, Arn looks a little different, certainly.
And then Bob Eaton, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Bob Eaton didn't look like Bob Eaton didn't have a great physique, but at least he looked like a man.
He didn't look beautiful either.
Well, that was the whole
we'd
point.
be more one to critique that. But.
How come back in the day the wrestlers, maybe Phil or Dan can answer this, they wore trunks over the tights? They didn't wear just tights. They wore the trunks over the tights.
I think it was maybe a little comfort for the ball sack.
Could be. Could be.
And I don't know that to be a fact, but it's the only thing I can really think of.
That Pee Wee Anderson?
Keep the muffler in place, perhaps, you know? Charlie, I wonder how many wore the muffler.
I certainly never wore a muffler. But I know Dusty Rhodes liked his muffler.
I would think with white trunks you'd want to wear one.
Well, Arn right now is, as Daniel Tosh would call it. Have you ever, do you guys ever listen to the Daniel Tosh promo on Arn?
Tosh 2.0.
Yeah.
I heard about this, and I couldn't figure out
hilarious.
why he's talking about Double A.
He just makes fun of Arn Anderson. He
How
has
does it-
Hacksaw. I have to send you the link of it.
Yeah,
If he has Hacksaw on there, he calls Arn the pony. Like it's the three horsemen and the pony.
really?
It's really funny. But he talks about renting space in Arn's head rent free.
Did Arn respond in anger?
Maybe on his podcast or something like that,
Yeah.
saying, "Well, you know, if
Well,
he
any
wants-"
publicity is good publicity,
Yeah.
really.
But
you know,
but Daniel
think
Tosh
about it.
was an old school pro wrestling fan. He grew up on guys like Warrior and Rude, and he grew up in the late '80s.
Yeah,
I think he's probably a little younger than you,
yeah.
but he grew up watching the '80s wrestling.
I like Daniel. I like the
He's
show.
very
He's
funny
actually,
guy.
yeah, he's one. Yeah, not too many people are on TV, but he's
Medusa's
pretty
getting
good.
some
triple
strange-
teamed, if you will.
You know, Medusa overall, I hope she's doing okay. I didn't mind her overall. I know for Dan that's a different story, and I can understand Dan's thoughts and feelings. You know,
This story he had, I don't know, never heard this before, but Dalton said he heard a story from Ric Flair that Andre ripped the fabulous Moolah's asshole back in '84, and she needed 148 stitches. I've
Oh,
never
where did
heard
Flair
that.
say that? That's crazy if it's true. If it's true, it sounds painful.
Miss Lillian.
It was revenge, maybe, for all the women that she took their trans money for, and Andre stuck up for his female peers.
You know, when you think about it, all it would take is one well-placed hand or swat from Andre's giant catcher's mitt across her backside to create that kind of
But what, was,
Bleeding.
trauma.
but what was
you
if it
know?
was something of the lower than the belt region causing the trauma? And a certain appendage fell.
I don't know.
It's a scary thought.
I didn't know the Moolah was geared in that direction. I just don't know.
Well, I mean, maybe she liked certain things.
I guess the real question is, could Andre get that drunk?
That's true, yeah.
The answer is no. I don't think.
I think Andre.
That is such an odd.
Andre had a 20-inch penis, apparently. I never heard that either, but
20 inches, that's way too big.
who was more funky, Andre the Giant, Big Van Vader, Avalanche, or Tugboat? King Kong Bundy was a clean wrestler.
Vader, I heard it smelled a lot.
Vader is really
You think he complained?
the one,
You think Vader smelled a lot so much that he complained about his own stench?
probably. He
Yeah.
thought it was other people's. They called him Leon Ripe. I've never really heard of the other ones being known to stink. I know it was difficult for Andre in certain circumstances just to try and use the facilities, but I never heard of him being a dirty man.
Yeah.
And the same for Tugboat and Earthquake.
We've heard about Japan, of course,
Yeah.
the toilets and having to use the bathtub and so forth.
Leon used that excuse here in the United States too. Tell you, this isn't all that bad of a card here, Charlie, that you picked.
I think I try to pick shows that I think are decent. I don't want to pick like a really shit show like a Halloween Havoc 95 as you maybe would think, or a SummerSlam 95 or whatever. Or
Really,
Bobby
the
Heenan
only
going
thing
up.
I remembered from this was the date, because I think it was leap year, and I remembered the main event.
but this show's been pretty good. The only show that was kind of mad to me was the tag with Vinny Vegas. I mean the Bagwell match.
I was impressed. I've never seen Kevin Nash do as much as I did in that one match.
Quite the work rate there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any shows that you'd like to see, Phil, that are maybe from the month of February or March? You know, you mentioned St. Valentine's Day. Are you be here with us
That's
next
good.
Sunday?
Well,
Or-
that's just Super Bowl Sunday, you know.
yeah, I know.
Oh, you do know.
I know.
Yeah, who cares?
That's true.
It's
It's on the
funny.
Pats of the
In
Bucks.
LA,
so
I
it's
mean,
not the Pats of the Bucks, I guess.
If it was the
you know.
Patriots, then it'd be a different story
Yeah,
for a
right.
different time.
Really?
Absolutely.
Would you cancel if it was the Patriots? I'd be okay if you canceled it, but I wouldn't care either way.
I don't know.
I'm indifferent to everything.
But it would be much closer of a call than the Bengals and the Rams.
I would at least like to
I don't
at
think
least-
there's a lot of interest
if it's a
in that.
close game day, I'd like to get home so I can see the end of it.
No,
if
we
it's a
could put it
close,
on this
good game.
TV.
Huh?
We could put it on this
We
TV.
could, maybe.
This is a virtual media center.
You could do the
be
watch
running it.
along on this, and
Yeah.
we could put the Super Bowl on that.
We could.
Or we could put the Super Bowl on this and the watch along on that.
We could do that.
I wonder what the man from Fridley, Minnesota will be doing for the Super Bowl.
And now we're going to watch the Rumble with him on Sunday.
Yes.
92. The whole show, or you're not sure? Yet?
Um,
We could probably do, I was thinking about this. The whole show could be interesting because he could maybe give us insight on everyone on that card because he was there at that time.
do you think he'll want a Frosty?
I don't know.
I'll bring him one.
He'd be thrilled if you brought him a
bring-
Frosty.
Bring
He was
Wendy's, Wendy's
disgusted.
for everyone.
He was disgusted with himself that he forgot to order the Frosty after I did.
Is there a Wendy's in the vicinity?
We were the
Route 1.
closest. There's probably the one on Route 1. Probably
Yeah.
about. Geez, when I used to work down there, if you hit the lights the right way, it's
10 minutes.
5 or 6 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, look at the dog-faced
That,
gremlin.
that patented catch and power slam. He catches them with his face, I think, and then he takes them over.
It was actually the nickname I used to have for my barber's daughter,
The DFG.
the dog-faced gremlin. Yeah. You didn't have to worry about too excited getting a haircut.
Wow, if
From
he ever
her.
heard you, you might want to wear Rick Steiner's headgear. He might go for an ear. My gosh.
Oh no, he's long since passed. But the dog-faced gremlin's still cutting away. Do a WrestleMania 2 watch along. Want to see Phil call Adrian Adonis for his Uncle Elmo. Now, why is that, out of curiosity?
Try to make lemonade out of lemons, maybe.
Now, Dan, I feel like you, actually Phil too, I feel like you guys would be great doing audiobooks and with your voices.
Phil would. I don't know
I think
about
you'd
me.
be, because I could see you, like here's an excerpt from Luger's book. I'm going I'm going to run over to Blockbuster and grab some movies. I said, ready to relax for the evening. To be honest, I was ready to get buzzed myself, then enjoy one of my favorite Boston market meals, meatloaf and mashed potatoes. Phil, why does this sound like something from your diary?
It is your diary. I remember when, I remember Blockbusters, Charlie.
I do too.
Yeah.
I love Blockbuster.
That's how you got your wrestling tapes back in the day. Immediately, you went to
Well,
Block-
no, we didn't have Blockbuster when I got my first VCR, so
Oh,
I
came
wasn't so
along.
lucky. But
A selection from, look at Steiner bridging up with the power.
hell of an athlete at that point.
This is in a great era, too. Look at this. The backflip over. Wow.
He really should have trusted Bill Watts and gone with the plan to turn him heel in 92.
Yeah, he could have been champ, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And he should. That was his time. That really could have been something special.
You don't think he would have been made as a babyface champ?
What's that?
I would have been a babyface heavyweight champion. I think the Steiners were such a hot team they wouldn't want to break them up though. Oh, there's Medusa again. Your favorite.
Please.
She's all over the show. I picked a good
You're
one.
the only reason why I'm going to have to take points off of my grade at the end.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, you're right, J.A. Is it in Oregon? The
No,
one blockbuster?
Alaska.
Oh, it's Alaska?
I think
Okay,
it's
I know it was
Alaska.
somewhere
I
up
think he
in
was
there.
right. That was one of the last holdouts. Was I think in Oregon or in that area?
I think they're doing I read, I don't know, somewhere online that they're going to be doing, turning it in at night into almost like an Airbnb where you can do like a little sleepover area and watch movies. And the last blockbuster in America.
I remember the popcorn smell in the Worcester blockbuster. Such a comforting smell.
Well,
It's a bygone era.
long after they were gone up in this area, in my abode in kind of central Florida, it was a hot spot. And when I would go down where I only had limited cable, I'd get probably a good 8 to 10 movies per visit. I'd
Sure.
be going in and out every day or two. They
Yeah.
loved me. Because when you only had basic cable, you had a very limited selection. Very limited
Indeed.
selection.
Anything good from there?
I will read a selection in a moment for sure.
Bill's going to read
Yeah.
a book instead of watching SuperBrawl.
It is a
I
good
was
book.
trying to look studious here. Oh no, the Steiners are engrossing, and not to mention our Eaton and Iron too.
But I could see Dan reading that book like, I was ready to relax and get buzzed as I enjoyed some nice Boston market.
When I get back from
I could hear you saying that too.
When I get back from Blockbuster, I popped in an Arnold Schwarzenegger action flick. We partied with a few pills and cocktails, but kept it light. I was talking about Brian and the Scouts, and Elizabeth was happy that I had opportunity to be there. I was really into the movie, but I did notice that Elizabeth kept dozing on and off. Well, we better stop there.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder what happened to
We
Elizabeth.
need to keep
I
it
think
PG
you opened to
for,
the wrong page,
Which
Charlie.
reminds me of Captain Lou when
Tony
he
Atlas
said,
appeared out of the room.
"Oh God," licking Elizabeth's
Oh
toes.
my! No.
It reminds me that when Captain Lou was here, he would say,
Who?
"Lou Data."
Yeah.
And he said something about
Useless.
Elizabeth. Wonder what she's doing now. And you said
Yeah.
she's not here. And he said, "I knew that," which didn't really make it sound that great.
He looks like a popsicle stick with hair. Oh. Useless. Never mind wimpy.
Steiners were very over here.
They were.
They didn't have much that was over, but the Steiners were. Bird seed teeth, Fox guy. You got to get it right, brother. Feel like bird seed. Remember Quincy couldn't understand how someone had teeth the size of bird seed, considering bird seed is so little. I think you missed that on Challenge one night, Charlie.
I want to transition Quincy from milk to chocolate milk because, believe it or not, chocolate milk is more digestible, and in many ways,
You think he'll
Healthier for the-
lose his cough?
I'm hoping Dan he loses his cough. That
The
dreaded
cough
milk
he's
cough.
had for about 7 years.
What if I got him some like
Ooh.
soy milk?
Ooh, right in the bread basket.
What if I got him some 2%? You think
Quincy
he would?
is no soy boy.
Yeah, he might be.
Yeah, I'm glad there's an explanation as to why he's had a cough for so many years.
It's my theory, and there's
There he is, late
there's
stage
merit to
emphysema.
it. No. But
No.
too much milk can create issues.
And I mean, he just drinks, I mean, you're talking a gallon a day sometimes.
And then
Sure.
you had the goldfish on top of that.
I don't know how many goldfish he eats.
Bugles.
Bugles.
He eats those a lot. Cheese. He mixes the snacks up a little bit.
Anything
but
that's
the milk
orange,
is-
apparently, that can be.
He's got the orange group down.
Sure.
Him and I had a long conversation in my car where Dan actually at some point came out to look through the window because remember when
Oh, yeah, because it's, what are they doing out there?
Was nutrition the topic?
I was afraid that Quincy was gonna drop something and he put his head down. Dan was gonna see it and it's gonna be like, oh,
Like Vito and the Sopranos and
Yeah.
that scene at the construction site?
Sure. Well, hopefully Quincy can be here for John Nord night. I think that is
We'll make that a
that is something that
happening.
needs
no,
to
we do
happen.
not need to make it happen.
You don't want to visit from Quincy Rustani.
Just too much with him and Nord.
Too much electricity in one room.
They're gonna call that when the chromosomes meet.
I think if we ever did that, we should just leave them alone.
Saying that
Just, just let the two
Turn
of
the
them
cameras
sit
on
there.
and saunter out of the room.
Can you imagine the beauty that would be created between Quincy Rustani and John Nord?
It's like the evolutionary chart.
Do you think they would stare at each other for a while?
I think it'd be funny. Quincy would have no idea who John Nord is, why he's even here.
They might bond over snacks.
I'll
Yeah,
say this: if you bring Wendy's for John Nord, Quincy will get hot if you don't have any Wendy's for him.
I would always include Quincy in.
You know what, Fox Guy? That's a good idea with John C. Manicus Riley in the middle with Nord and Quincy, kind of mediating. I'm a little disappointed in John C. Manicus Riley. I know he said he couldn't be here for 6, but he never said he couldn't be here for 8.
What if something happened to him?
You know, maybe he went for a haircut.
Well, maybe he's in a ditch
It's
somewhere.
taken longer than expected. We hope he's all right.
Yeah, John C. We maybe you're
I'm
home
trying to
watching.
think, is this the semi-main, second to last?
Oh,
Is it like this and then the title match? Because
I've been so engrossed in the conversation and my hatred of the world, I don't remember off the top of my head.
what would he look like without an afro, John C?
When he was an intern, his hair was much, much, much shorter than it is now.
Like Buzz?
No, but not too much longer than mine right now. It's just, you know, it's like one of those houses out in Detroit where they haven't mowed the lawn since '86.
Yeah.
That's the place I probably would move to, is Detroit. I would not move to Detroit. No offense to Detroit.
Fox Guy thinks John C. would provide a calming influence over Nord and Rustani.
That's possible.
He does have a Zen quality to him.
He does.
It's fun. I've actually grown to like him a little bit more than I originally did.
I do too.
You know,
I like.
You didn't like him
I
either,
did.
Phil, huh?
No, I always kind of
Oh,
liked him.
oh.
No, I did.
I don't know. He's just. I realized for him, he's a little bit of a weird guy. And he's out there, and he's
And
into
he's a manicus.
and he's very like him and I are completely different people.
Which
but,
I misspell.
but
He's a good egg.
He is a good egg.
He's one of my favorites.
I like him. He's a good soul.
I see the book here.
Certainly.
Just a
You
moment.
want another passage?
I was gonna say maybe we can flip to another random passage.
What is it? The Bible? I mean,
All right, here's this is better. This is about Jim Crockett Promotions. This is more less dark.
wait a minute. The old Alabama Jam.
Oh.
Well, that was the
Picture-perfect
knee.
drop though. Not a lot of dirt from this book. If you're
No,
looking for
no.
dirt.
He was very religious at this point. It was released by a religious book company.
Oh, was it? So you think he did a lot more stuff on the road? You think
Oh, of course.
you think he had a lot of girls? and
Yes.
A lot of sleuths.
That's one way to put it.
A lot of drugs.
That's one way to put it. Look at his home when it got raided when Elizabeth died.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, there's no stories of like him in like 4-ways with like as you'd call them rats or something like
No,
that.
I think a lot of people would call them rats.
You know.
We're talking about Ken Patera's afro from the 70s. King Kong Mosca, Andre, David Schultz, Kenny Patera. Patera Rastani had one. Butch Reed.
Yeah.
And Robert Reed from the Brady Bunch.
Oh, I remember. Good call, indeed. And the whole Brady's got permed at
Yeah.
one point. You know, Harley went perm too. And
Yes, he
and
did.
You talk about real men can have a perm, and he proved it, boy, huh?
Real men. can
Bruno
have
had
a
one
perm.
too, actually.
That might have been his piece. I don't
Oh, it
know.
was a combo. I think you get the perm piece and he permed the rest. You know,
You know what's? Can I say this about Bruno? His voice would make me hungry.
for Italian
Bruno's
food.
voice would
Just
make you
particularly-
hungry.
It made me hungry. Some people have certain voices that make me hungry, and he would
Hungry for what?
just food, not
Oh, all right.
not
Damn.
penis. I don't need to be hungry for that.
I wasn't trying to insinuate
No,
anything.
you insinuate everything with my sex
Never,
life.
ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
I would never do such a thing.
If I walked into a closet with Medusa, you would be like, I'd insinuate, but you'd be like, eh.
If you walked into a closet with Medusa, I'd
Probably throw me a baseball bat in there and say, don't come out till it's done.
finish
Insinuate.
her off.
That's what the Lord said to Adam and Eve, wasn't it? Insinuate.
Insinuate.
I'd love to. I can only hope that Medusa saw her
Shadow.
Twitter handle attached to John Nord's comment about her golden clit, and then she approaches him at some fan fest and asks him about it.
Or better yet, shows him to prove it.
Well, I wouldn't want to see
rocket
that.
launcher.
Well,
Kind of not done well. Warren sort of lost him a little bit.
you want the Warlord in studio, Matt? I'd love to have the Warlord back. That's a first-class quality guy.
SuperBrawl.
Unlike some of the other pieces of garbage we've had.
Warlord does seem like a cool dude.
It
Oh.
does, yeah.
Great guy. Only problem with his is he makes good, even at his, I don't want to say his age, but
His day job.
you know, at his stage of life, he still makes good money bouncing and, you know, running nightclubs down in Florida. But he's just,
He beat Rick Rude in an arm wrestling contest.
Warlord?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
This is from a,
You're really enticed by this
Well, I
Lex
didn't-
Luger book.
I didn't know if it was from a Christian book.
Well, I wouldn't lie to you.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just looking for the name.
Tinsdale or something like that?
Tyndale House.
It's got to be probably on the back. no?
Tyndale House Publishers.
Yeah, the Sheik was here many times, Dalton. Unfortunately, cyberspace wasn't what it is now. I would have imagine if we ever had the Sheik on a weekly basis, or you know, taped in a way where we had him on a weekly basis. My God, I am never bringing a book out here again. You've been too distracted the whole time.
I'm very distracted. I'm easily distracted. Easily. I'm not going to lie. I'm very distracted.
You're missing the dog face gremlin, and I'm not talking about the barber's daughter.
It's been a good match, though.
Oh, he's going for the belly to belly off the second. Oh, electric chair, perhaps. Double A's got Ricky up. Rob Rex.
See, I don't like that because he's just sitting there.
You think he should fight?
Oh, almost. Oh, he reversed it. He was playing possum. Bobby slipped out the back door, though. One of the best matches I've ever seen was the Steiners against Sid and Spivey.
What year was that?
I can't think of what it
89?
was. It's 89, I think it was. And yeah, it was a show. I can't remember what show. If I can remember, that was a pretty good show, too.
Just
All into the
amazing
gimmick.
that with all this talent, that there was just such. Well,
Oh, don't lose your
lot of
baby powder.
Well,
Oh, just enough in there.
with the wait,
Oh, who's
Well,
the rep? Is that
he
Mark Curtis?
attempted. No, that was
Wouldn't he have felt the shirt and
Pee-wee.
been like, yeah, that's not you?
Huey Anderson. No relation to Aaron.
Would that have been a disqualification?
Well, he backdropped the right guy.
Up.
Double underhook by Scotty. Nice.
Now, do you like when another referee comes in, or you think the original referee should be the one to come in?
I like the original ref. I've never seen
Frankensteiner.
in a baseball game, a fifth umpire run out. And then you have, I understand the gimmick, and done once in a blue moon, it works. But like when Dusty Rhodes would book, and they did it every weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Mr. Wonderful, I think we have 5 episodes with the Warlord up in the Patreon and in the archives. Great guy. Certainly plan on having him with us again. Good man. We've spoken to Coco Beware in the past. I wouldn't say it's impossible.
It's a nice little section of Brett and Luger hanging out getting coffee.
Really?
They like getting coffee together. Maybe they like doing other things together. I don't know, but they like getting coffee together.
Well, coffee is a preferred beverage of mine, too.
You like the coffee.
Like the coffee and the water.
You
Love
like the coffee.
I think I've told you I've never had a cup.
I need neither.
You've never had a cup of coffee either in your whole life?
No, I don't
Really?
like it.
This is a statistical anomaly with the 3 of us sitting here. 2 of the 3 of us have never had coffee. That's amazing.
It's a little strange.
That is odd. No, we got to get ready for Wrestle War 92. May 17th from
Home of
Jacksonville.
Yeah, MJ.
Home of the AEW.
Yeah.
AEW.
we may not have baseball in a timely fashion this year.
Matt, I've tried for one-man gang a lot. The problem with the gang is he won't fly. He'd have to drive up from Louisiana, and that's quite the trip.
I promise you this, though, Dan. If I ever moved to somewhere to Louisiana, I'll get
You'd bring the gang?
I'll bring the gang.
Back here?
The irony of the gang not flying, one of his finishers was the 747.
747,
Yeah.
right, yeah. Iceman King Parsons, I think he's still alive.
Texas, maybe?
That would be a tough interview. I have to do a lot of research for that one.
We are family.
I don't even know how many interviews you can
Sister
get out of him.
Sledge used to do the butt move.
How many interviews can you get out of him, though? That's the thing. Yeah, mostly a guy. He did
A lot of Von Erich.
Texas stuff. Mostly Texas.
I really want to stock up, and hopefully we can get you out to the Cauliflower Alley Club this year in September, because that's a place to get a lot of damage done, unlike the damage that was done to the footage by that imbecile that we brought with us last year. Oh, Phil, you would absolutely love it. Have you ever been to a CAC?
I have not been to a CAC.
Not even when they did the Northeast ones?
No.
I'm surprised by
kick
that.
myself in the butt now. Oh, I regret a few missing of events. Believe you me, but I'll get to one.
I'd like to clean house this year with that. They do have a little mini suite at the hotel. They moved hotels again this year.
What about Vampiro?
I'm a WWF guy. I think most of our fans are WWF type
Well,
guys.
they like other types of wrestling too.
I want to see requests.
I don't think the Vampiro's in. Oh, there's Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Oh,
Not to be confused with Ricky the Dragon Kowloon.
Who's in the mask? Walking around like an idiot.
Could be Dennis Brent. Please send Phil to the club to do interviews. They want you to take my spot, Phil, at the club.
Yes.
Well, I think it could be a joint venture.
All right.
You know.
I can go with Phil, and you can stay here.
Johnny was anxious to go out. We were going to bring everybody.
Yeah, we have to sell more Fabo Pops to get
Hey,
Johnny.
brother.
Hey, brother. Hey, brother.
Yeah, Kevin goes to the Cauliflower from time to time. Hawaii to Vegas isn't horrendous, I guess. It's about 6 hours to LA and then another hour from there.
Didn't one of the Von Erichs lose their virginity at one of these? Didn't Fritz buy them
at a Cauliflower Alley Club
or
reunion?
in Vegas.
Maybe.
I think
Oh,
it might
I
have
don't
been.
know.
He might have taken or to I wonder if it was an NWA.
I know
Florida.
supposedly Kevin Von Erich had his virginity taken by a hooker at 12. They bought.
Fritz. And I
But-
thought it tied in somehow
But
with
Chris Von Erich,
yeah.
he, the youngest one, he lost virginity to a hooker, I suppose, and he cried during the act. That was a rumor.
Which is so ironic, these good born again, it just flies in the face of the whole,
Welcome to wrestling.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Drugs are all there.
And then we
There's
got-
Rude.
God looked great.
Was he international champ at this point?
U.S.
Or US champ?
You're
Okay,
not-
No,
that's
they
right.
hadn't gone that.
Oh, they didn't.
That
Yeah.
whole thing with the NWA didn't fall apart for another year and a half or so.
Oh, okay.
We had Bushwhacker Luke here with us in
November.
November, yeah. We did an episode with him. We'd love to do more. If you could join us on Patreon at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling, we could have Bushwhacker Luke for a slew of interviews. He was going to be with us at Wrestle House in Tampa in December, but you can thank a looseless individual, Lulis. Is that right?
That's actually without Lou.
Yeah. Well, no.
He'd like to be Lou, I guess.
Well, he ruined it. We were going to have Bushwhacker Luke, Tatanka, Gerald Briscoe. Who the hell else was booked?
Maybe.
Dutch Mantell, thank you. Jimmy Mitchell. And it was ruined thanks to that piece of garbage. Oh, it's not going to help with the future of my business. Please, business. Did I tell you why he was here the other night?
To
Finally joined, yeah, after 8 months. So now we're stuck with him. I'm sure it'll be him and his little birdseed teeth will be flying in. Dewey Robertson was a great guy. We actually had the missing link wrestle for us. And what might have been, I don't know if it was his final match, but it had to have been one of his final matches because he passed not too long after the fact. And the reason that he wanted to do it was because Paul Bearer was on the show.
Oh, yeah.
And Paul Bearer wrote the foreword to his book.
Sure.
Was also the night that John Cena Sr. and Fergal now Finn Balor,
Yeah.
made their MWF debuts. It was the night of Jake Roberts' first no-show in Boston Wrestling. So it was really a historical
A
evening
commemorative evening.
at the Lynn Armory in Lynn, Massachusetts.
Did that happen in 2005?
Yes. Yep.
What I'd like to have right now.
Memories.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned Jake Roberts because he's one of the premier names for April the 16th.
Yes, we're looking forward to having Jake with us on Saturday, April the 16th.
Oh, wow. Rick looked great.
Matt, yes, Dutch is
Like,
going to be
look how great he
rescheduled
looked.
at some point. When? I don't know.
It's like a perfect combination of genetics and gas and working out and diet and everything.
It's genetics and gas. And
Beyond
working
the
out.
storm that went
Genetics
on,
and diet.
Dutch has a story
he
he's
was
going to
dropping
share with
carbs
you
at this
guys that I
point?
think you'll find interesting.
I heard 90 he
Um,
really cut carbs.
Just fantastic. Fantastic guy if you've never met him. I would love to have Fred Ottman with us. I've tried to get him before, and it just hasn't worked out for whatever. It'd be the timing, or I thought Wrestle House might be easy where he lives down in that area of Florida.
Was Shane Douglas in the mask?
I don't think he was there yet. Maybe this was his debut?
Pre-dynamic dude.
Post.
Yeah, that was like 90, I think it
Oh,
was.
post
89,
dynamic. I'm sorry,
yeah,
that's
I
right.
think.
Yeah, that was much before.
Of course, that gimmick sucked.
It
It
did.
was
Yes,
pretty-
that's a very good way to put it.
Mm.
Thank you, Charlie.
Just
for
in
your
case anyone
insight.
didn't know, that gimmick sucked. Ricky still looked great here.
I don't think he didn't. I can't remember a time where he didn't.
Timeless worker.
Even when he had that comeback in 2009, he looked really good.
Just
You know, a little couple of
timeless-
grays in the hair, but
just a
Nothing wrong with
timeless
that.
worker.
no. But I mean, who would have ever expected for him to have had a 15-year layoff and come back and work so good and so smooth?
Yeah, like butter.
Just amazing.
He had his final match on one of the what they call the tent shows down on the Cape that summer against Drew
Oh.
McIntyre.
The Melody tent or
Yes,
whatever
yep,
I think
yep,
it was.
yep, Cape Cod Melody tent.
Yeah.
You wrestled Drew McIntyre. That would have been a good match. Drew's a really good worker.
Now you're talking 2009.
Well, he wasn't bad then.
He wasn't very good. Gangrel, I'd love to have Gangrel with us. He's another one. He's a Florida guy. You know, we really do need to work on putting together a wrestle house. One where we actually have people that show up, that know how to turn the camera on. We need to get a scanner for Phil's pictures.
But you said
Dynamic
Gangrel.
89, dynamic dudes. Did a bench press with John Laurinaitis one day. He was weak. A friend of mine did work out with Animal. He was a powerhouse. Well, to be fair, it's not like Johnny Ace looked like he was a powerhouse.
And he was like 6'4" and rangy. And the physics aren't there necessarily for a strong bench when you're of that.
Gangrel's just
Before-
vulgar to me.
Why is Gangrel vulgar to you? I've never really known him to be. I don't know him all that well. Well,
Gangrel was a super nice dude.
Yeah,
I found a super
from my
nice,
interactions with him,
super
I
nice.
know he's actually
friend.
deceptively big.
Bully Ray would be a good guest. I don't think Bully Ray will be
Oh, we
here
got the
anytime
pictures.
soon.
We didn't get through all of them, did we?
I think we need to
Gangrel
scan
and I are
them.
in
We
here.
need to do the Phil DeCesare shoot interview.
Why don't we do one? I think Phil would be a great
No.
interview.
I like to think I shoot every appearance. So here we go. That's Gangrel.
Can you find the Bradshaw
Wow.
picture for Dan?
That's myself and Gangrel.
Well, I know that was you.
You
yeah.
marvel at the dark hair back in the the
Yeah.
hair's dark, but the beard was darker.
Almost a little like Bradshaw.
There's the Bradshaw picture in here. It looks tremendously.
Mike Graham's dead. I don't think we're going to be having him in the studio anytime soon, Michael, unfortunately. Mike decided to take his life like his father and his son in a very odd
Yeah.
family.
Such
the
a
genes.
genetic
About 10 years ago, I want to say.
such a genetic component there. There's something really.
Really odd for the whole family. And I think there was if I remember right, I think there was an uncle.
I love this. It's just so.
They look like twins.
I know.
It could have
people-
been the new Black.
My buddies at the gym used to call me Bradshaw.
Did they?
Yeah, they
Did you-
said,
did
"Hey,
you-
Bradshaw."
Did,
Yeah.
you, did you have the hoop earrings too?
No, just in the you know where, in the pectorals
Oh, okay.
at that point.
Did you have them in the pectorals then?
I think I did.
Bradshaw looked a little pissed here.
He was very nice. He was a very nice guy.
Really?
He's just doing it for the camera, I think. But yeah,
I swear, look at Dan. Doesn't he look bigger than Bradshaw physically?
I was a
In
very
the
strong.
arms,
I was,
yeah.
I, was,
I think
so. I was actually in creatine at the time.
And what was Bradshaw on? Beer?
Probably.
Are they? Did we go through all the pictures? I don't know if we went through them all.
We shall, though, eventually.
I think we need the scanner.
We'll
You
scan
have to
them
get
up.
it from Fluffy Guerrero.
I wish
in the
there was.
other room.
I wish we had a picture of the Welcome Back Hall sign.
Well, that
I
only
can't
lives
believe
on
it
video.
I'm so psyched that they showed it during the pay-per-view.
And that the fan was nice enough to take the screenshot and put it on Twitter.
Did they?
Oh, you didn't?
No, but
You
that's
didn't
so
know
nice.
that? Oh, yeah.
How cool is that?
Oh,
wow.
I went berserk when they
that's
sent me the
great.
link to it.
I wonder who did that. I have
It's
to
the
thank
small
them.
things in life that make you happy.
I dig that, man. You know, you have a few instances of the on-screen in the tape collection.
Oh, really?
Different things, yeah.
Hey, someone asked, was Phil a wrestler? And I would say he should have been.
He
would have been
attempted to. at
Did
one
some
point.
training.
Phil, you would have been. I think Phil would have been. At least Phil would have been on Dan's shows. I think. Dan would have used Phil.
Well, it's almost an insult to word it like that. But
What?
I'm hoping to join AEW.
You wouldn't want to use. Look, show him those pictures. You want to use?
I've
that?
seen them.
Yeah.
Well, I know. I don't know if it's a 3 or a 5 year contract that John Cena Sr. signed him to put his voice.
Yeah,
to,
it's a multi-year contract. It is. I'll
Well,
tell you
gonna
what. If the
put Howard
midgets,
Finkel to shame.
What's
if-
the contract?
if the midgets ever
His
come back,
ring announcer contract that he signed with John Cena Sr.
Oh, Phil.
when he
did.
gave him the Hey Brother.
No, that's a better contract than what I have with MWF.
Andy
Me too.
Kaufman wrestled women. So if they bring the little people, will be PC and current, the little people back to the business, then I will gladly join and compete with them.
You want to compete against midgets, Phil?
I do.
Little people.
Little people. All right.
If we stack a couple of 3 and duct tape them, no, I'm
Well-
just kidding. I'm going to get a lot of heat for that.
I think maybe what's going to happen is you wrestling Sacco for the spot of the one and true.
Well, let me tell you, I think there's a shoot thing going on. If he thinks he's going to encroach upon my territory,
I don't
think-
think Sacco's going to be happy when he finds out about
I don't think
this.
Sacco's.
I don't know if he knows. He might pull those socks up all the way to his knees.
I got to be real here. Is Sacco going to be here at the next show?
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I'll make a deal with him. We can arm wrestle and play Jeopardy, and
I think you're going to beat him both. He doesn't strike me as a great athlete, Sacco, is he?
great voice.
Scream,
That
oh,
seems like a great
Screaming
guy.
Baboon. Let me see.
Not
Any
that I'm a
news
great
on
athlete
Quincy and his lover, the loafer? Dan, anyone?
loafer.
I'm with Phil. I want to make live. I think he means make love to a midget after wrestling. her. Well, I don't know about that, but
There is who is in AEW, the woman who is very petite or very
yes, the Russian
What
girl,
is her name? I can't think
Kirsch,
of
I
it.
think.
All of them?
Yeah, she's good. She's a good grappler. She's of the short.
Yeah, she looks like old,
variety.
and
I'm not saying she's a little person per se.
she
but,
looks still. She's very, very short.
She's
No.
a petite.
Is it
yeah,
Leila
maybe-
Leila Hirsch or
Yes,
something?
yes, I think it is. I think it is she.
I
yeah.
thought you were going to say Brandy Rhodes for a second.
Oh, please.
God, what a see you next Tuesday she seems like. I never got a
I
good.
mean, whatever she might be as a human being, she has no talent on a professional wrestling platform.
No.
Nothing. Nothing. She
She just seems like a jerk in real life. She just seems like someone who's just a bit of a.
I don't know if I've ever met her.
You ever had any interaction with Brandy? Minor ones, maybe.
If I ever did, it must have just been a hello. I don't ever remember meeting her.
The irony of that, Rick Rude just did just a cross body or a flying body press against Steamboat against the rope, kind of pancaked him, and he didn't go over as intended and hurt his back. And that's the same move that Sting did to Rude, I think in Japan.
Yeah.
At the platform where he kind of crushed his back.
Funny enough, these guys worked at Royal Rumble '88,
They did.
which I tried to watch that show a few weeks back. My God, I couldn't get through it.
Why?
It was just awful.
Their match?
Not their match, but Dino Bravo had a segment about
Oh,
his weightlifting
yeah.
bench press competition. They did a program, a thing with Hogan and DiBiase in the ring. It was just so.
That actually led to one of the biggest matches in wrestling history. So That was a worthwhile segment.
But it was just so the show. They did the jumping bomb angels against the glamour girls.
Which
Phil,
was supposed to happen.
I would rather put my balls in a vice than watch that match again.
That was supposed to happen at WrestleMania 4, believe it or not.
Oh, have you seen
But
that
Moolah
match?
fucked them
What happened?
because they kind of Moolah used to get a big cut of
Was it
all
gonna
the
happen
broads'
twice?
money. Yeah.
Oh, thank God then. For
So it
Moolah.
was going to be, they were going to do the women's tag team title at WrestleMania 4, but when they were working in Japan, Moolah called and, said she was working as an operative for Vince and said that they wanted to do another title change in Japan. And they did the title change in Japan, and Vince and Patterson went insane.
because they
And they
wanted
just
the
they
title change-
scrapped it completely.
because they wanted the
Wow.
title change to go.
No, there wasn't supposed to be one, but the Japanese people didn't know
Well,
that Moolah was kind of
That's
shoved out of the equation. So Moolah said, fuck them. They think they're going to get one over on me. She called up all nice and Southern sweetie and worked the Japanese into thinking that they wanted another title change.
because so the Jumping Bomb Angels win at Royal Rumble. They beat them for the titles.
Right,
So in Japan, that means the Glamour Girls got it back.
right.
But they were going to get the Glamour Girls at WrestleMania.
I don't know what the finish was going to be at WrestleMania, but I know because they did that title change in Japan, the office was furious. They didn't believe that old lovable Lillian could do anything like that.
Miss Lillian.
She thought they did that. The girls called it on their own, and they pulled all 4 of them from Mania.
Well, I'm going to say this.
Judy
Called it
Martin's
Jack
big
Briscoe.
payoff.
And I never have heard said this publicly, but thank you, Fabulous Moolah. I know you're dead, but thank you, Fabulous Moolah, for doing that because that match was one of the worst. 2 teams that have no idea how to work with each other. They were
You really didn't.
I hated that match.
Wow, compared to the women's
it was-
wrestling now,
It was.
I actually like that.
It was such a
What,
shitty
the Jumping
match.
Bomb Angels?
Yeah.
I enjoyed them, I recall.
No, but
Yeah.
this match, Phil, was terrible. 2 out of 3 falls.
That was a little much.
Yeah.
That was
might-
just it was so bad. And I remember thinking this match couldn't end. I swore at my TV when it finally ended. I said, Jesus fucking Christ. Excuse my language.
Hey, now it's Lord's Day.
Lord's Day. Thank you. Sorry. I'm a bit of a heathen.
Sorry.
But I said, you know what? Thank God this
So is
match is
he.
over. I was cleaning my apartment. Well, he could be what he wants. God, Rude. I can't say enough good things about Rude or Steamboat for that matter. They had a good match at Rumble '88. I really liked their match.
I was never a big Rude guy.
You're not a lot of thing guy. Sometimes I think you've got so much hatred in your heart, Dan, that you're not.
I don't hate Rick Rude. I don't know. His matches never really did it for me.
But you hate so many things. You're not.
I do. Well, no, there are a lot of things I hate, but Rick Rude isn't one of them.
So how much creatine do I have to take to get to look like that?
All of it.
All the creatine. I get proud of myself if I don't eat at night and I wake up the next day. I feel really lean and I feel like nice and you know what I mean? Because I do that. I try to. What do you think of intermittent fasting? I've tried.
What do I think? I think it's the best thing going today.
'Cause I've-
Because
I've-
Ric Flair.
Because I've done
I
it
do.
a little bit. I really seem to like it. But anytime I eat too late at night, the next day it's always.
I think it boosts HGH. It promotes cell autophagy, which means your cells clean out and you shed the bad ones. I think it's awesome.
If you don't eat at night,
No, if you delay eating during the day, if you eat say within an 8-hour window during the day and just leave all your eating there, you often say that you come here and you don't eat the whole day until the end of the day or what have you. That's actually
or sometimes it's very early in the day.
well, and that can throw things off if you eat early and then don't eat the rest of the day, and you get hangry and that sort of thing. Or at least I do. But
Tony says that the carbs make the brain happy. I don't know.
he's right.
A lot of people like to eat carbs earlier in the day to have the fuel for the day that they need.
Well,
Well, ask Phil, where he's an expert. When is the best time of the day to eat?
It depends on your activity level, your schedule, your sleeping. But I would say, that waiting several hours upon waking is actually a good thing. And since neither of you are coffee drinkers, I think it might make it a little tougher for you guys because I think caffeine is a great ally in the intermittent fasting world.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
if you
it's
wake
good
How
stuff.
often should one fast, Phil? Once
it's
a
like,
week?
It's like anything. You start out gradually, and I have to tell you, it can become, I don't want to say addictive, but it can be easy enough where you could do it several many days a week.
Many days a
Many
week.
days.
Really?
We could
Now, what
fast
would
for the
you
whole day?
suggest?
I'd start off with one
one.
day during the week, and maybe just eliminate your breakfast, and then have your lunch later, or well afternoon or midday, and then go from there, and cut off your eating at a reasonable time, a few hours before you go to bed.
I did it for 10 days once, and it was a lot.
Have you ever fasted just completely fasted for a day or 2 days? I
10.
mean, I think we all for 10. You mean
10. Because of that.
because of your
because of-
accident and your
No, the Viking Raider Ivag wanted me to do this juice fast that he did. There was some
Really?
Netflix special with, I think the guy was from Australia or
Yeah.
something. And I went out and bought a Jack LaLanne blender and all these
Oh, yeah.
vegetables. And after the third day, my God, the smell of the cucumber made me want to just vomit.
Do you know who?
So for the last 7 days, all I did was water.
How do you feel at the end of those 10 days?
Hungry.
Did you lose? How much did you lose any weight?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I bet you felt hungry, but you must have felt cleansed. I think that was a wonderful
I mean,
thing to do. Amazing, actually, to consider going back.
I am
You
impressed
probably-
that I was able to do it.
I'm impressed.
I did. I had cravings, of course, but
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah. And
Huckabee, how are you, buddy?
I think that's great. That's just my son's school calling.
Oh.
It was an automatic call.
Oh, I was
which-
going to say it'd be
which-
odd, yeah, for
which makes
8:30
me-
on a Sunday.
Which makes me wonder,
The school going to be off.
Yeah, it was
John C. Manicus Riley.
Good timing. You'll be coming out here shortly. I'll be hitting the road shortly.
Where are you going?
Well, in a little bit, I'm going to have to.
Oh,
do I have to do a
needed,
reading?
yeah, well, we needed you to do the voiceover.
Well,
yeah,
I will do a voiceover then.
John C., do you know how to use the podcast thing in the other room?
Speaking
half
of
and
the
half.
other room,
why don't we pause it at the end of this match and just have him do it?
How
I'm
do
gonna
we
go in the
pause a
bathroom.
watch along?
I'm going to go.
We
Well,
just stop the. We just
no
stop.
worries, no rush. I'm going to. I'll stay. I just have to use the bathroom for a moment.
Screaming baboon, I am a cyborg and a machine.
The baboon.
John C., where were you, brother? Oh, all right. Well, that's a good excuse. We were, be careful.
I will.
I'm not as svelte as you, Phil, and I've almost gone through that. I don't know how many times.
pull a Marty.
Well, you could do that too. We're still trying to fix the wall. How are you, John C.?
What does it record to?
If you go to my desk, I have a little picture of the baby from a birthday party. There's one of those gimmicks with the USB that you plug in. Inside the USB is a memory card. Inside the memory card is one of those little tiny mini ones, and it records onto that. Look at this. Maybe C and I can't even remember Phil's name. And Phil. Oh, well,
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like,
well,
what's
I'm still waiting for the response to the private video.
What's the? Oh, that response? Well,
No, not you, just from them.
Oh well, like I said, one seems.
They
like
get one shot, baby. So they better make it count.
Well,
Because I'm done.
well,
I'm done.
like I said to you, there's no reason for them not to go through with it. There's no reason for them to not sit down and say, listen, it's one day, go do it for one day.
Or just live up to your word and your obligation.
And then don't talk to this guy ever again.
Simple.
Yeah.
But the good thing is we get plenty of time to work it out.
Well, if they come back and they say it's a no, what is your plan of attack?
Remember that sign for Jacksonville we saw earlier?
About Wrestle War 92?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that city.
It's going to be a war.
Yes.
You're going to go to war with
Yes.
Jacksonville.
I don't know if I'm going to go to war with Jack. No. I don't want to put it in terms like that.
Because
But at the end result,
Because, sir, I caution you to err on the side of diplomacy, because if you're trying to potentially have a future with something.
no, I understand that. But the point of contention is at the end of the day, there is no human being that can hear that story of the other three issues at hand that you listened to today that could say that there's any reason for any of this nonsense to be going on right now.
But are you worried? But But as you've said, if you do want to go to other outlets and talk about this story,
I can be very nice.
right? Do you think that could affect your relationships with that company in the future?
No,
Yeah, that makes sense.
as long as it's honest and it's said respectfully.
Okay.
I think even the video was respectful and as much as it could be. I don't
I
know.
mean, you didn't curse and
I don't think I yelled.
no,
I don't think I raised. I'll tell you this: my heart was racing.
you didn't call someone a birdseed sack of teeth, a birdseed teeth sack.
Well, I had no reason to.
You didn't even know what size their teeth are.
But never met him.
Who went?
Look at that superplex from the Dragon.
Talking about Wimpy.
Shades of Cowboy Bob Orton.
That's a little bit of one beat.
2 inside baseball for me.
John C., did you find it?
Yeah.
Let me bring it over to me and I'll show you.
Oh, no, you just hit record on it, right?
You already brought it over to the podcast booth?
Yeah.
And you know how to turn it on?
Yeah, big red button. Of course.
And you know where the little tiny thing goes? It's about the size of one of
Yeah.
his teeth. And you know how to bring up microphone number 1, which is the one at the desk? Well, Phil, if you want to go do the voiceover now, John C. believes he is the man that can do it with you.
Well, I love that idea.
All right, well,
Let's-
Phil, you can leave us again.
I hate to do that. I
Well,
hope no one's eager for me to go.
No one is eager for you to go, believe me.
Hey, this year, if the Red Sox start late, Dano, we have the Woo Sox.
Yeah, you know what? I got to get out there at least once this year and at least say woo.
Absolutely. It's a great time.
Well, you going to go to the Woo Sox game, Charlie?
Come to the Woo Sox, Charlie.
It might be fun.
I know you
It's a
brought
blast.
Mrs. Wilson to Fenway.
Mm-hmm. I have.
What about you, John C.? You going to the Woo Sox? Yeah, wow, I'm impressed.
Me too.
I'd like to see you try and just put on a baseball hat of any kind.
That would be great. It's a good chance you might catch a home run.
Is it that small?
I put 10,000.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Well,
but
better
no,
than
it's-
Fenway then.
Yeah, oh yeah. it's
All
a
right,
quarter.
John C. Let's see if they can. I'm interested to see if they can
I'm gonna
pull
need
this
my
off.
sheet in a minute. John, do I have to turn this
Oh, wait
on?
a minute, Phil, you forgot the words.
I'm going to get him.
No. Here, come over this way. I'll pass it to you.
Thank you. I feel like you spelled so many times before they were
Oh.
There we go.
Who was the ninja?
Well, you hit him with a cell phone.
I think that kind of gives it away. Dangerous thing.
I think he did his best stuff in WCW.
Oh, Gary Michael Capetta.
Oh no, Paul
Oh.
Dangerously.
You enjoyed his work in WCW.
More so than anything else he did.
You don't like him as the advocate
Yeah, but it's okay.
or the leader of the tribal chief.
That's okay. It's
Oh.
not bad. Just,
Is it better than Phil's 4x6s?
nothing's better than that.
Now, do you think he should print some of those, blow them up to 8x10s to sell on April 16th?
I think that'd be phenomenal. That'd be fantastic. Because April 16th is shaping up to be quite an event. It might be even the last event for the MWF.
At that place,
Yeah, at that place. I mean,
John C. would look like a 1970s baseball player. And you know what? I can actually picture it now. Some old 1973 Topps baseball guy.
like Raleigh Fingers, kind of.
Oh, yes. What you people do to me sometimes. The super chat button is open, folks, if you want to help the cause. We didn't do 20 questions tonight because you know what? Dan, did you get my package with the Berzerker photos and boot? Chris, I think I know what you're talking about.
I'm looking at some of these photos. They're phenomenal.
Yeah, just steal them. Chris, I don't know if you have our email, but email me here, and I'll talk to you later tonight. But you may have solved a question. Jesus Christ.
This is our
What the fuck are these?
ECW, apparently.
He wanted to feel the bang. Who's that?
Eddie Guerrero.
Jesus.
Yeah, looks
He's
like-
really that big?
Yeah, Benoit. Yeah. He looks like John Cronus a little bit.
No, to me, he looks like a 97 Bradshaw. Oh, Ivory. She said
I really
she wanted a little Caesarea. Who are these rats?
Berzerker. Test
Ugh,
your boy.
fuck them. Who took those pictures?
I
A
think-
blind man?
I don't know. Parody.
Another asshole.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I think these are just friends of his. Friends. This is like a Undertaker.
What is it?
Look at the Undertaker in the corner. I don't know what this was. Mosh and
D-Lo,
D'Lo.
the member of the family.
Jason Knight. Christian. Axel Rotten.
Jesus Christ.
Guy
He looked rotten then, too.
Yeah, Malenko. Look how small Malenko is. Balls. Oh, Balls are good shit. Van Dam. Van Dam looks like he's trying to get out of Phil's basement.
Well, I tell you, Phil's photo collection is very impressive. I would like to scan them.
Well, let's see. There's more. Oh, Lesnar.
What?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know how to commentate on that one. The Guerreros, not
Yeah.
to be confused with Fluffy.
Yeah. I'm guessing that's a Raw.
That's in the basement.
I'm not even looking up. And
That's the view.
Oh my god. The back of someone's head is about to cave in.
Well, the Flash was a little too close to home.
You can't get out though. This is
Oh,
Ken.
can.
Bob Holly and Angle.
My stomach hurts now. That's the one thing about these watch-alongs. Sometimes we laugh so much
Don
and have so
Marie.
much fun.
John Marie was here. He called her a lass, I'm sure.
That lass had a nice looking ass.
Yeah, she looked great, Don Marie. Really
I
did.
like that gimmick with Al Wilson. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, I do. I thought it was so shitty.
You didn't like Al Wilson. Now there is the man called Sting. He had the rat tail going and everything. You ever have a rat tail, Charlie?
I didn't know, but I think I should. God, look at all these. God damn. Lance Storm is in one of these. Oh, I don't even know where this was. Was this in a church somewhere? Phil, what? These pictures are these pictures are great. I do. I love them.
He made a mess of them, but
97 Bradshaw is what Dan called you.
Ms. Holly. How'd it go, John C?
Ah, these are great.
You weren't showing the viewers at home, are you?
So you were
No,
able
no,
to
no,
hit
no.
stop on record. You took the little thing memory card out of the back. You put it in the regular memory card thing.
These are phenomenal pictures.
Then back in my thing that I
What
don't know
years
the
are these from?
terminology that I plug it in with.
They're all kind of rangy.
John C, I tell you, brother, the C, what's the C stand for? Completed. Commitment.
Eric Bischoff said that before about WCW. The C stands for commitment.
All right, well, the C stands for commitment. He made
That
it.
was
He-
championship.
Now, where were you with your family today, John C? The fans want to know in the premiere chat. Oh, really? No, you had a big C get together there? How many? Well, what do you mean? Well, how many people went? Oh, was it good? You enjoyed the hardcover. Now you're making me even hungrier. Thank you. What did you have to eat? Chicken Florentine. He was a big shot, big timer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what chicken Florentine is. Oh, all right.
Oh, my dear.
Well, how often do you go to the hardcover? Was it for a special reason? Well, no, the fans are asking. Fox guy says the C stands for calm.
I follow this Facebook group called Seinfeld Russell Posting.
Well, we're happy that you
So they'll
made it,
take
John. I was
Seinfeld
worried that
pictures and
something was
they'll put,
wrong.
like
I don't know if you got my text
Bizarro
message. I didn't
Seinfeld
get
against
yours
Baker
until just
Taker,
I read
stuff
it
like
just a
that.
few minutes ago.
Yeah,
I was
really
worried you
funny.
might have been, assaulted or something.
Oh, this one's good. The man hands.
I don't know the company you carry. I could see you in one of those.
Yeah.
What were
Yeah,
what were those
Yeah,
movies called?
There's some good ones
Well,
here.
I can't think of the name
There's
of
some
it.
good ones here.
Where someone, what's that?
And this
No,
is probably
just
one of
where
my
you were
favorites.
engaging with people on the internet and you wound up dead.
Yeah. Yeah, someone took the picture of him and they put it
Playing
right
a
there in
video
the back.
game
It
or
was awesome.
something. I don't know. Yeah, I thought maybe you were dead. I kept saying, where is John C? But were you proud of me for setting up all three of those, or did you not even see them? No pun intended. I did the next 3 Sundays. I set up pages for them already, so you could do that C thing that you do.
Oh, heading out? All right.
Phil's had about enough.
Phil is
Good seeing you guys.
Phil, hopefully you'll be here with us live for St. Valentine's Day Massacre 1 week from tonight. Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon inside a 15-foot high steel cage. We'll probably talk very little about the event like we usually do, but you know what? It's fun to have it on in the background as we ramble. Maybe we'll have an email from Wimpy. Did you see the email from Wimpy, John C?
I'm going to actually go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
All right, just leave. Really, I feel like a man without a country. Thank you, Phil. A pleasure as always. Wrestling fans, you were treated to the man that soothes the end of all of our programming now with his farewell. See, did you see the email from Wimpy? Yes, he emailed me tonight. He asked me if I was email challenged, as if I was almost mentally challenged. And he called me. What was the terminology? You'll enjoy my response, as you know. I'm the creative individual, but a grasping bore is what he called me. And I said, considering some of the insurance companies that you represent, some might say you're a grasping whore. Not that I would ever say that, of course, but you'll get a chuckle out of it. Chris, I just got your email now. Chris, I don't know if you're still in the chat now. Chris, are you still here right now in the chat room as I sit here alone? As Lex Luger and Sting battle it out for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship here at SuperBrawl 2. Simon, it was a pleasure to have you with us. Hey, Chris. Look at Sting and Luger going to war. Two buddies. Maybe you get a little bit more out of Luger in this one, as Luger was jacked to the max. Facebook. So varied, so quick, all day long. Have package is what you're talking about. Not sure if you read. Right. Look at that. Sting has got him up in the torture rack. His own finishing maneuver. I know Luger got out of that one quick enough. But Berzerker is back with us. 220 to 222. You can sign live on air while you're watching. If you can join us. Again, folks, I know I'm in the minority, but I preferred the blonde-haired Sting over the crow's Sting. I guess Chris is gone. Boston, Phil did some voiceovers. John C. is manning the booth like a manicus. I think Charlie went to use the little boys' room. They're probably chatting a little bit as he was very impressed by Phil's photo album that he brought with him. Look at Harley Race up there, still trying to keep an eye on things. Managing Luger, probably wondering what is next for me after Lex leaves the company tonight. Go on to work for not Vince McMahon's WWF, Vince McMahon's WBF, the World Bodybuilding Federation, for a year before he debuted as the Narcissist Lex Luger at Royal Rumble 1993. I would have loved to have seen, and I don't know about you guys, the blonde-haired Sting have a run in WWE in his prime. I think there's so much more they could have done with him than Warrior. I think he would have been a better representative of the company than Warrior. I think he would have had better matches than Warrior. But, he had a nice guaranteed amount of money coming in from WCW, and he didn't want to leave. Lighter schedule. One man's opinion, as we like to say. I don't know what John C. thinks. You think we could get John C. to get the hairdo like Sting? I don't know. But we're glad you guys have chimed in tonight. We always have fun on these watch-alongs. It has been a terrible day. If you guys have, if you're on the Patreon and you've heard my exclusive little podcast I've been producing on there, you know the frustrations we've had leading up to our big Back to the 80s event. Now less than 10 weeks away, 69 nights from now, John C., one of your favorite numbers, the number 69. We go back to the 80s at Memorial Hall, downtown Melrose, Massachusetts. Jake the Snake Roberts, Axe and Smash Demolition, Tito Santana, the Berzerker, so much more. It is going to be a happening. But a lot of frustration to go along with it. Oh, Charlie is making his way back. Did you say goodbye to Phil? Did he make it out all right?
Yeah, looks like it. I don't think he was robbed or raped or mugged.
You didn't take any of his pictures.
I didn't, no. How's this match been going?
It's the main event.
And?
Hell of a main event. Two good friends in there. You know you're going to get more out of it.
Good.
I was discussing with the fans how much better it would have been for this blonde-haired version of Sting to have had a nice run on top with WWF.
Yes.
In that time period, as opposed to Warrior.
I fully believe if he was there, Bret Hart would never have gotten the nod, or Shawn Michaels.
Probably not.
No.
Or, well, maybe it could have been a heel Bret, or but I think he could have had much better matches potentially with those two than Warrior would have.
I mean, and you know what though? I will say this about Warrior. He really did succeed at the highest level. I just actually watched the Hogan Warrior match the other day from WrestleMania 6. Still one of my favorite matches all time.
Really?
Love that match. I love it. It's everything because it's the epitome of a babyface match. That two people who were actually people cared about. People cared about them. They were vested
interest.
It wasn't just two guys going out there and doing spots.
That's almost like Hogan and The Rock in the same venue. It's the first time you see it, you think it's a classic, and then you see it a second time and a third time, and it's good, but it's not what it was the first time you saw it.
Yeah, I still love
which is incredible. But the first time I saw it, I thought it was incredible. And the same I could say for Rock and Hogan.
What match do you think aged better, Hogan Rock or Hogan Warrior?
Hogan Warrior.
That aged better, you think?
Yes, much.
Really, I think Hogan and Rock is a better match.
Really?
I think so. I love that match.
Really?
I love both. I love that match a little more.
I was there live for it. The crowd reaction was absolutely incredible.
Do you think that should have closed it out?
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, a third of the crowd left during Triple H and Jericho.
Poor Jericho. You could tell he really didn't want to be in that spot.
Yeah, he played. The main event was Triple H and Stephanie, not Triple H and Jericho.
And those two, and it's not like Triple H, and you talked about friends when they worked together. Triple H never cared for Jericho, I don't think, at all. And I don't think Jericho ever cared for Triple H at all.
Jericho says they became friendlier as years went on.
But
But at that
2002,
point,
yeah,
no.
yeah. But I don't even know if they're even good friends today. I think they're just friendlier.
It's like John C. and his comb.
Right, exactly. They're just,
Tears.
now, yeah. But now they're fine, but they're not fighting for a spot, But
It's just, it was a match. The build-up sucked. The match was, I don't really remember anything about the match.
did they work much together after that, or even before that?
I tell you this, if you go back and watch Fully Loaded 2000,
Mhm.
they have I think it's a last man standing match that is exceptionally good. Exceptionally good.
Triple H liked those gimmick matches, didn't he? He liked those last man standings.
I really don't remember too many he was in.
Well, McFoley and him had that. Well, it wasn't a last man standing, but
It was a street fight, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think Triple H. I think he did a little bit better in the gimmick matches.
Do you?
I think he was a good singles wrestler, but maybe he liked the gimmick matches quite a bit. And I do, but I think Jericho. I probably think more highly of Jericho as a performer than I do Triple H. Not to say Triple H was bad, but I think Jericho was just more. I think Jericho was just a more all-around worker.
And see, I can think of more matches of Triple H's I've enjoyed than Jericho's.
Really?
Yeah. Different strokes for different folks, as they like to say.
I mean, Triple H, I thought, was a very good worker. I just think he was, especially after he came back from the injury, like a year after the injury, I thought he was just, he just started, you could see in his body too, eventually. He came back, he was shredded and big, and then he just got fat.
He was too big. That was the problem. But I'll say this, you're talking 2000 to 2001 Triple H, maybe the best in the business.
At that time?
Yeah. He was that good, in my opinion.
What made him good, you think, in that time period?
His body was perfect. His in-ring work was believable and crisp. His promos were good. He had everything going for him.
Also his promos.
He was done with China.
To add to your thing, at his promos, he really hadn't gotten to the annoying 20-minute promo on the show Triple H yet.
Yeah.
He wasn't to me, when he became Ric Flair in Evolution, that was it for him. He never was the same after that. Granted, that was a little bit after the injury, but that's why I say the first year he came back, he was okay with me. But once Evolution started,
It's Holly's bump of the night.
Once Evolution started, and he wanted to be Ric Flair, and he ditched the jackets for the suits.
That was it. Yeah, I mean, he wanted to be Flair so bad. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. We have a new WCW World Champion, not even with his Scorpion Deathlock finisher.
Not a long match either. What, 12 minutes?
Lex not even really selling it.
The crowd is into it, but it's very anticlimactic. You think a match like this would go, 15, 20 minutes? This was not a 15-minute match.
Well, Luger wasn't a guy that could go that long and be that good.
Oh, he could, yeah, with a Flair and even Sting.
Oh.
He could go 20 minutes. I just think it wasn't, for some reason, they didn't call it. I don't know. I mean, I would have had him go at least another 5.
Maybe it was time constraints.
Well, that may eventually get a little bit more time, don't you think?
Well, I mean, they could have cut from some of the other stuff.
Cut 2 minutes here, cut 2 minutes there.
That's what WWF would have done at that.
Do you like the finish at least, or is it kind of?
I like the fact that they did something different out of the blue as opposed to the Scorpion Deathlock in the middle. Yeah. With it being his finale, I think that's how he should have gone out. Tapping.
Yeah.
But that's just me. My opinion.
But the fans didn't know that.
Yeah, but it comes off as more of a surprise that way. So in the moment, it was great. Oh my God, Sting won! I can't believe it.
This was his second
with a cross body.
I think this was his second title reign.
Yep.
And he would have this, I think, for maybe another few months, 4 or 5 months.
Till he lost it to Leon.
Yep, and then Ron Simmons, your good friend.
I still like Ron to some degree. I don't understand lying. I'm going back on your word about things, but There's an email from Chris. Chris, yeah. Yes, I'll do this.
Oh, I thought it was Wimpy.
No. Oh, not that one. No. No, a fan had sent a package along, and we figured it out.
How would you feel about meeting Wimpy face to face?
I'd start laughing.
Would you bring a hamburger?
I'd say, yeah, expect the money on Tuesday.
So what do we grade this show? I'm going to say a solid 7.5.
Oh, will you stop with the fucking halves? Why? Why can't you just pick a number?
If you don't get so, it's like a rib. You don't sell the rib. Don't sell my halves.
Oh, I would have to give this a very solid 7. There wasn't anything that was really bad on it, other than having to see Medusa so many times.
You know, I'll drop it to make you happy because you've had such a rough day. You had such
You're
a
gonna
rough
give
day,
it to
and
me?
you bitched and bitched and bitched and bitched and bitched
About what?
about everything.
What did I bitch about?
He needs to make the show.
That's a very serious situation when you're talking about the money involved
No,
and the
I'm being
people
facetious.
involved. And
I'll give it a 7.
you'll give it a 7. All right.
Make you happy for once.
Well, John C. Sting is the new world champion in 1992.
I'll say this show is better than the Rumble, the new one. Well, granted, I didn't see all the Rumble, but
Which year are you talking about?
the 2022 one.
Virgil
Virgil Reynolds, I wonder who that
Yeah,
was.
I'll
Actually,
agree with that.
I would argue we've got Royal Rumble 92 this month.
Yeah.
We've got St. Valentine's Day Massacre, and we've got, I think we're going to do the last,
In Your House, Rage in the Cage.
96. Do you think this would be the best show of the 4? Overall, best show of the 4. I'm trying to think. I've never seen.
No, I'll probably say Royal Rumble 92 would be my guess. But we're watching it with a fresh set of eyes in the year 2022.
I can't.
Fans, we want your grades. For those of you that are still with us, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give Super Brawl 2?
I think it's a, and I think for this era of WCW, Dennis
Brent.
It was really good, especially when you consider Janie Angle, Terry Allen. When you consider that they were trying to get away from some of the more gimmicky talents and try to present more wrestling. The Bill Watts era WCW, this wasn't Watts, but Bill Watts era wasn't that bad.
Not at all.
Really was just, they were trying to start over. And I would actually think it was talent roster wise. I think they had a nice, Boston goes with a 7.8. I love you, Boston. It wasn't that bad, but you know, Wyndham was a heel at this
Look at
point.
how out of shape he was there. My God.
Wyndham?
Yeah, can do a lot to you. But we'll talk about that differently. But fans, again, love to hear. We get Matt Kocher with the 5.
Look at Harley's
Boston will
hair.
round up to an 8. Holly's hair is a different color. Barry Windham's almost as big as Vader in this, but we're not going to watch this one now.
I think Harley's trying to no-sell Vader's stench.
No. Holly needed the work, the poor bastard.
Oh, this was White
The
Castle.
White Castle of Fear. I don't know, fans, but again, if you are thinking about joining us next Sunday, again, it's St. Valentine's Day Massacre, Austin and Vince. 2 weeks from tonight, the Berzerker, John Nord, will be live with us in studio, which is going to be a happening. We're going to be watching Royal Rumble 92, which the Berzerker was in. And then we round out the month of February with WWF In Your House, Rage in the Cage. It was WWF's first February pay-per-view ever.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Now with
Bret Hart against Diesel inside a 52 cage matches
now
this month.
with WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Now WrestleMania, does it mostly take place in March or April?
It really all depends on Easter.
Because I can tell you this, just a quick look. The first few WrestleManias kind of go back and forth between March and April. Is there any? Because I figured March will be doing manias basically.
I think we should.
At least 2 manias in March, I'd say.
I think it should be all manias.
Oh, I agree with you. 100% manias. Unless you want to, I mean, because ECW had Living Dangerously. WCW had Sold Out. They're not
We got to
sold
get
out.
fans ready for WrestleMania, and even more so, we got to get them ready for Back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th, Memorial Hall, Melrose, Massachusetts.
Are there any WrestleManias you'd like to watch in March?
I know the fans wanted to see 3.
We'll do 3. We'll definitely do 3. You want to jump around?
Maybe we'll do some polls. Maybe the fans have some suggestions. Matt Kocha says we must do 3.
Must do 3. Okay. Any other mania?
I think we did 1 last year.
Well, if you want Phil DeCesare to do 2 because of Adrian Street, who said that? Was that Matt? You wanted him to do 2?
Yeah, Phil's sinister villain-like laugh, watching Adrian Adonis and Uncle Elmer from WrestleMania 2.
Well, at least we get the Bulldogs and Beefcake and Valentine.
Now, what did you think about the idea that Phil had for the game show?
I don't even know about it.
The pipe is right.
The pipe is right.
The pipe is right.
I didn't know about this pipe. Is it his pipe? Is it his piece?
I have a feeling it's his pipe.
What's the idea?
I don't know. Other than if you lose, you get hit with the pipe.
Back to the basement.
Da-da, 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 come on down. Da-da, 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 da-da. I guess 89 cents. In the trunk. And then it was that picture. It looked like that cult with the fire in the basement.
Did I show you the pictures on the camera? And no one could see it because there's no zoom in, but it would have been funny to.
That's why I want to scan them. We can have fun with them forever. Forget about Bob Barker. Forget about Drew Carey.
Yeah,
the pipe is right.
I said to him, when there's a picture of him and Ron, I said, wouldn't it have been great if Ron just picked out Bradshaw and put you in the APA with him?
And what did he say?
He just but imagine if imagine the promos and you'd be like, damn, and then Phil goes, and then we're gonna take them to the basement, right, Ron? Like the APA promos are in the basement instead of
that little room where they would have the card games.
Yes.
Phil's basement. All right, fans, we're running out of time here. Anyone else on a scale of 1 to 10? What do we get for Super Brawl 292? But it has been a long, hellacious day for Dan Marotti. John C. Manicus Riley doing the late run-in. CW, of course, doing the 5 of gimmick. I don't want to use the word that I used with you, but it was just a bad day. But better days are ahead is the way I look at it.
Well, yeah, I think so. I agree. But anyway, with that said, I think we're going to
wait a minute. CW's taking over.
A little bit.
All right, go ahead, brother. Take it home if you want.
Ooh, Max Payne. Well, I was going to say, we're just waiting for the big clap from John C. But tune in next week, next Sunday, for St. Valentine's Day Massacre. I know the football game is going to be on, the Bengals and the Rams, but
am I doing it right?
Is not as good as wrestling, and you know it to be true.
I think there's a lot of fans in this premiere chat that really have zero interest in the Super Bowl.
Oh, no, I agree. I agree with that.
But I think we can do double duty. If you want to see it that bad, I really don't care.
The only time I'd want to see it is if it's down to like the last quarter and it's a really close.
It's tight.
Yeah, it's tight.
It's tight.
Yeah, like a tight, tight, like a Bianca Belair body. It's tight.
Oh, all right.
Like a Rick Rude body. It's tight.
All right, John C. We're ready for the clap, baby. It's been a hell of a night. Are we getting close, Johnny? Can I give him the good night? All right, wrestling fans, we thank you for joining us. Don't forget patreon.com/Boston Wrestling to join La Familia. We got the Marty Jannetty Indie go, and baby, we're at 94%. Help boost us. The more you guys help us, the more great legends we can bring to you. For Charlie Wilson, Phil DeCesare, John C. Manicus Riley, even that worthless sack of shit Wimpy, I'm Dan Marotti. Until we speak again, folks, you and yours be well, be healthy. Good night from Boston.